nominate me and see if they take it.
Jim Meyer for vice chair.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations for vice chair? Third and final, any other nominations for vice chair? If not, entertain a motion for.
Unanimous, cast a unanimous ballot.
Casting vote for vice chair, for Mr. Meyer. Your motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
The first by Mr. Miller, second by Mr. Brian Coggins, for Jim Meyer as vice chair. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
How long do I have to be there?
Too late now.
Public comment, limited to 5 minutes per person. Wait, sorry. Approval of minutes of March 14th, 2024. Everybody read the minutes? I guess that would be just you and I. So, sure, not Terry. Oh, you're on.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
14.
First by Mr. Philmershed, second by Mr. Miller to approve the minutes on March 14th, 2024. All in favor, say aye.
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 John, there's an addendum too for the March 21st minutes, I didn't know you wanted to turn over to you. Yes, sorry, I missed it on the first agenda.
Oh.
My bad.
So, we gotta approve that too?
Yeah.
So we need a motion to approve the minutes for the March 21st, 2024 meeting.
Terry Wendell was actually approved that one.
Oh. So I guess I'll make a motion to.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Let's go second, and the first by Mr. Weather,
I'll second.
and second by Mr. Coggins. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. If you make a second.
Oh, because I was second.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That was my question.
That's question two, I guess.
Well, I think looking at this, the only ones that were here were David Welch and you.
Okay, so,
I think somebody's gonna have to.
Yeah.
That second.
okay,
Somebody's gotta do it.
Yeah.
Somebody's gotta fall in the story.
okay, well, I made a
I'll
motion.
second.
Okay.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
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 What if three of us were saying? What if three of us were saying?
Just
You're
don't.
in trouble.
Sorry.
Phil.
I didn't do it.
Okay, public comment, limited to 5 minutes per person. State your name.
My name's Krista Ostenso, and, as most of you know, I've been coming to some meetings along with a couple other people, since a little over a year ago when the virtual access had been discontinued for a while, and then it was brought back, but only for the full board meetings. So I wanna remind everyone that we are here solely as a public service. We're tired of being treated like we're here, like it's something bad about us being here. I really feel that way. And I have to say, reflecting back, about half the time, I cannot hear you people. And we've said things about it, and nothing's done. And as a person who, actually, I'm a new hearing aid wearer, and I can hear a lot better now. But when you can't hear for years and years, you get kinda used to not hearing. You don't wanna make a stink. You don't expect people to do special favors for you. And so sometimes you just suck it up and not hear. But now I've learned that one of our newly elected board members already resigned after his first meeting back because he basically could not hear except for two speakers, two people that spoke nice and clearly, he could hear them fine. But most of the people here do not speak so that other people can hear them. And I'm just gonna tell you that right now, we see that and we know that. We don't know if it's because we're here with our camera And maybe that's the reason why nobody speaks up and why this properly elected person by his county board district has already quit because he felt like he could not do his job properly. And when he went to talk to the people here about it, it was made to be like it's been going on for years. We've spent all this money, it just doesn't work. And he was left feeling like, I'm just gonna have to endure tons of meetings like this if I keep going. And I can't do that. That's not a way for me to serve properly if I cannot hear. So he has already turned in his resignation. And there's probably nothing to be done about that. But I'm just gonna say, I want to be able to hear each and every one of you. I do have my hearing aids in. It's not as bad as it used to be, thank goodness for hearing aids. And actually this board member has hearing aids as well. And certainly there was plenty we could have done for him. We should have set up a proper sound system. If that didn't work, we could have put it through his Bluetooth. Many things we could have done, and now he's already resigned. But I will be listening and I want to hear every word. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? If not, public comments closed. Okay, discussion, possible motion. Approval of retroactive compensation for acting highway commissioner.
I'll go ahead and take that. So the commissioner, was out on leave during the time frame of 2/26 through 3/10 of 2024. We took that to the highway committee and the personnel committee, and both of them had approved this. We are requesting to pay the acting highway commissioner at 31/11 during that time frame that, our commissioner was out. So this was the wage he was receiving as acting operations manager. So there was an acting operations manager, this employee was being the acting operations manager, and then what had happened is the new operations manager started on day one of the new operations manager starting, our commissioner was out. So, we didn't feel it was appropriate to make that operation manager be the acting commissioner as well. So looking to give, approval of compensation for him acting as that highway commissioner.
Any questions?
So what was the difference, sorry, what was the difference in pay? Just
It was like two or three something, I can look for sure.
That was just over $2 an hour.
Yeah.
Well, I figured everybody was thinking about it, but nobody's asking it, so I just started trying to.
I think I had that down for the. He's currently 27.05, so it's more like $4.06.
That was like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
very long, right? It was just a couple of weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
What's the total amount?
Guys.
Which time frame are we talking about?
2/26 through 3/10.
Should be way more than 300.
So if you just take the,
The difference.
well, I was just gonna look at the 315 payroll, because he does get paid overtime. That'll just give us a rough estimate. So it'd be about 5,900 for fringe.
5,900.
Yeah.
update medical examiner pay rate schedule.
Do you wanna go ahead and explain it?
Sure, and then jump in where I'm
Yeah,
inaccurate,
That's
okay?
okay, you're gonna be fine.
Okay, so, does anyone know Annette Ratzing, our medical examiner? Okay, just wanna make sure, alright. So this has already gone to emergency services and the personnel committee. So what was happening, and please step in, is that, for instance, Annette was called on a case. She would spend possibly 10 minutes on it, realize that this isn't really her jurisdiction, but she did put that time in, but she didn't feel comfortable claiming a case stipend, okay?
Right.
So she would do, a couple of those incidents would happen, and then after she built up an hour or so, she would claim the stipend for a case, okay? And Ashley, you can maybe jump in too here. So we really need to be paying employees for work that they're doing. So even if she only puts 10 minutes into something, we need her documenting that, and we need to pay her for that. So, in your packets, you should have the resolution with the breakdown of how that's paid.
Oh, it was emailed out to them.
Emailed out, okay.
Yeah, unless did you bring copies for them?
No,
Okay, I just printed-
Ashley has the, yeah.
Reliability issues we need to have.
Exactly, so she needs to be on the clock if she's working for the county. So what the current structure is that a case is paid as a stipend, $185. But for these incidental duties or duties that are outside of the realm of a case, instead of paying a stipend for that, it's being proposed that we do an hourly rate. And so that is at the bottom there, and it says something along the line of incidental duties.
It was in the email when I saw the agenda, but usually the departments, yeah.
This was,
Center when I sent out.
the thing came out to be $30 per cremation, and then, that is what's on the bottom here. There's another file.
Okay, yeah, it was in the stuff that Jamie had emailed out.
Wasn't it like 1,800?
Okay, so the first part of not like building up all these, you know, incidences, like, I go out to the hospital, spend a little bit less than an hour out there and realize it's not my case. Instead of adding all those like incidences up and then just like taking $185 stipend, I'd like to just have it in a more realistic pay, at like $16 an hour. So I think I used to say, and Jamie, this is probably good for you to hear too, that a case, I take the case if I'm, signing the death certificate. But I think a more accurate way of saying it is that, I'm taking the case if I'm required to be there by law. Cause sometimes I'm required to be there and a doctor will jump in and sign the death certificate, but I'm still required to investigate the case, like if it's under 24 hours at a hospital or, special circumstances within that stay, or if it's in the ER or something like that, I'm required to be there. And so that would actually maybe save a little bit of money in the long run, I'm thinking. And then the next one is that we have always gotten paid, $30 per cremation. When I started and we redid the pay schedule, it was, put in there that we would get paid $30 per cremation, only if it wasn't our case. And I'd like it to go back to like $30 per cremation, cause we're still doing that work, whether it's our case or not. So, I don't know if you have any more, questions.
What is the, cost savings compared to when we went to, this new pay scales compared to like 2 years ago?
I don't know what I'm thinking,
It was approximately $50,000.
right, for the payroll part, yep.
Yes.
We
And
spend
the-
a lot of money on lighting already.
Right, and the difference in the impact it would have on my budget is, $1,800 and $1,875 and some odd cents. And that would be like, we do about 120 cremations a year, and I think I got paid for 59 last year.
What was the annual number? 1,000?
Oh, like the impact to the budget
Yeah,
would be $1,875 and some odd cents.
based on that.
Right.
Can you just tell me how you came up with that, just cause I have to sign off on the resolution for fiscal impact?
Okay, yeah, I had it attached to my, my emergency services agenda.
And this past emergency services?
Yeah,
Yes, it did.
And personnel.
yeah, and personnel.
I think the net thing that you're saying, Annette, was it's $16 an hour for transport, trainings, meetings and conferences.
Yep.
And then $30 per diem if no death investigation.
And incidentals, 16 per.
Yeah, the $16 an hour uses the incidentals. The $30 is, just to sign a cremation. We've gotten that for decades, I guess I could say. And then it just accidentally kinda got switched about a year and a half ago, maybe a little less than that. And so I'd like to put it back to where it was.
Any other questions? Anyone?
Well, I think we're gonna find yourself in liability issues if you don't pay accordingly. And it looks like she's trying to save us money by not charging the full amount. I'll have that motion. Ordinance resolution.
Did you find that, Jamie?
No, what meeting was that?
That was my last emergency services meeting.
March? From March?
No,
Which
from
meeting?
April.
We
or
got
no.
in April already?
Wait, what is today? Yeah, it would have been April.
It's 18th.
Last week.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't think I have the packet from that one.
Okay.
Okay, hold on, everybody, we got a motion on the floor here. Well, motion by Mr. Evershed, sorry.
Second?
Second by Mr. Meyer.
I have it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jail medical provider contract,
Thanks.
Miguel.
Alright, sure? How we got here, Advanced Correctional Healthcare is our current jail medical provider. They, indicated to us a month or so ago, they indicated that they were going to eliminate licensed practical nurses from their corporation. There's an issue in Missouri and Illinois where there's some legal issues challenging the scope of practice for a licensed practical nurse over a registered nurse. So Advanced Correctional has decided that they are going to wash their hands of licensed practical nurses across the board. So of course what that does is gonna raise our yearly contract. So we put this out for bids. We got 2 bids back, one from Southern Health Partners and one from Advanced Correctional Health. The bid that came back from Advanced Correctional Health was $110,223 a year. I spoke to them last week and told them that's unacceptable and we refused to pay them. So they knocked $12,000 off of it and come back at $98,084. Our current contract with them is $70,954.05. So the difference is $27,129.95. the biggest issue with this is it's mid-budget cycle, it expires June 30th. So the difference to go from the 27,190.29 is not in my budget because it's mid-budget cycles, but this expires in June 30th and we have to have this, so.
What did the other one come in for bid?
It was 98,000, but it did not include meds, which you have to add $10,000 to that, so there's a minimum of 108.
And what company is that again?
Southern Health Partners. So Advanced Correctional was 2,000 higher than them originally, but, after negotiating with them, just to keep them and keep our process smooth the way it is, 98,084 is the final for July 1st, 24 to June 30th, 25.
And you currently got budgeted 70?
Yeah, 70,954.05 is what we paid in 2023 to 2024. So the difference is 27,129.95.
George, is there a possibility of getting into like a calendar year contract so that it can be more so built into the budget cycle?
Well, I think this was a surprise this year that they decided to do this mid, otherwise normally this is in our budget. And this was a unique change from year to year, otherwise.
You're looking for line item transfer?
What?
A line item transfer? Is that what you're looking for? Cause your whole budget's not shot already, is it?
I don't.
It's only April.
Right,
Line item transfers don't have to come here. Unless it's between payroll and,
Well, your whole budget is shot in April.
for the medical it would be.
well, and
The line item that I had for jail medical would be.
And I've heard you in other meetings say that you want them to come here when they know that, you know, there's something coming up that's going to cause them to be over budget, you want them to come before they go.
So we can figure out how to stay within their budget of different lines. Not so we can.
I mean, we can't run without a medical provider, and that's DOC required that we have to have it, so.
Is there other lines in your budget that, you foresee going in on the short side?
At this point, with being 5 staff members short, absolutely not.
That's the overtime?
It's gonna destroy my budget.
And this is not unique to Rusk County, ACH hit everyone with large increases, prices into the 6 figures.
My others was 220.
I'm with Jamie, I don't like this mid-year contract thing though.
I don't either, and I can definitely reach out to them and see if we can do a fiscal year, or at least our.
At least then you can build it into your budget, you can work on it during the year, you can re-up it.
Well, normally we budget it and add like 5 or 6% for inflation every year, so normally we're right in that, but this year because of this registered nurse increase, that's why it's so out of the ordinary.
Well, if you did a 6-month contract, is it normally a 12-month contract?
Yes.
If you did a 6-month contract and get us into January, and then we'd be set up for 2025 budget, you might be able to stay within budget anyways. Cause I'm assuming you're paying the full amount or the monthly.
I guess I don't know how we pay that, because.
So that doesn't help us.
Yeah, to Phil's point, if it's monthly, we might be able to absorb some of this over the next 6 months, where then we could budget it better.
Well, we
going
still
into
have to match
25.
up our revenues and our expenses, so even if we are paying for it all in, you know, July of 24 and it covers us through June of 25, we still would put half to 24 and half to 25 for
So
budget
you normally
purposes.
bill it that way anyways.
Yeah,
Right, so then instead of, in a sense, 27,000, I mean, I understand it's 27 or 20,000 over 12 months, but it would be,
it'd be
give or
half
take
that for this
13,000
year.
over 6.
it'd be $13,564.96.
Yeah, cause we're good until this expires, correct?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
we're good till June
End of
30th.
June,
Yeah,
okay.
June 30th.
What do you have, Peggy?
$13,564.96.
So yes, the back half, basically, we have to increase for 2025.
So for 2025, we can budget for it.
I mean, is that right, Jamie? I mean, 25, we can budget
Oh,
for
yeah.
that. Right now, we just need to deal with what's in front of us
Right.
for 24.
Mhm.
Or-
But, you know, to Phil's point too, I mean, to move contingency now, when we usually have, you know, I'm starting to work on budget transfers now for 2023 to kind of, you know, look at like all the sheriff's budgets and kind of move the levy around between those budgets. So if you know you're gonna end up having to be over for your wages too, you know, doing multiple transfers from contingency.
Sure. And I guess I'm not asking to move money, I'm just asking to approve this contract, to renew our contract with ACH for next fiscal year. Or
This
the
is
next year.
Does this need to go through emergency services before it
Already
comes
did.
to us, or already did?
Already did that.
Already did.
Okay.
You're
No, we
right.
really don't have a choice, we have to.
You're right,
It's
no,
the
we don't,
cheapest of the two, right?
it is.
But you would have a choice of 6 months versus 12 potentially.
Can you look into a 6-month contract so that it's easier for future budgeting processes?
I can definitely get over and try it.
It's not gonna change what we need this year.
No, but then in the future, we don't come into April and we're not budgeted for correctly for the year and we're not doing transfers. If the contract is due in January, then when we're in budgets,
Right,
We're
but it
gonna-
doesn't change the fact that we've gotta change this now.
right, but the contract would be accepted as a 6-month contract rather than a 12-month, right, what Terry's what I'm trying to say.
Whether they agree to that or not.
Right, so I think we really need to check into that. I will make a motion that we accept this. George, you need to reach out and ask them to accept a 6-month contract, if they don't, we're gonna have to do it for 4 months probably anyways. But, ask for a 6-month contract first, just for the ease of future budgeting purposes.
And Phil, can I ask that this should also go to the board?
Yeah.
Because of the dollar amount?
I have a form.
Forward, I will make the motion to forward to the board. And by then, George might have an answer on 6 months.
The motion on the floor by Mr. Anderson.
To forward, the board to accept the contract and have George in the meantime, do a 6-month contract, so you can bring that on to the board when I consider.
Yes. I will do so.
I have a second.
I'll second it.
Second, Irons.
Do we have any more discussion?
One last thing.
The thought behind this, if we do a 6-month, there's a very good chance we could end up at the end of the year paying more for the next 12. Should we just let this sit here until we know where its budget is truly at and then deal with it? I mean, instead of hashing out something like this at the board, maybe it should be hashed out here after he gets more info. That's my only thought.
We'd have to,
Yeah.
so the decisions, the contract ends June 30th.
Right.
So we'd have to for sure in May have made the decision. I mean, I'm good with that if we wanna wait to see what he can hash out, maybe he can.
I wonder if he should do the 6-month and then also ask for a 12. Maybe he's trying to negotiate that way.
Or an 18 month.
Yeah, ask for an 18
Or
month
an 18.
18 month.
That's part
I'm
of
just throwing it out there for thought.
If you wanna bring it back, just talk about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We could also direct the finance committee chair to speak based on follow-up with George at that time too, so that we don't have to call a special meeting. If you're looking at us, wait for next month.
Yeah, I forgot what county board is.
Well, we could also, how long do you think it takes to find out anything, George?
I'm hoping early next week I can have an answer.
Was there coming board again?
21st.
This can also be modified on the floor of the county board too, if you guys get more information. That's another, just throwing options out there.
I forgot when you made that motion there. 24-3-4.
But our next finance meeting would be 16.
Oh, that's for you guys to figure out later too.
I mean, we still haven't set our new finance date yet, so I mean, we could still kick this before the board. Or have a finance meeting before the board.
Yeah, I mean, I checked, if we do keep it on, if we do have it on the 16th, which that can work for just.
What's your motion again? What's Phil's motion again?
To forward to the board, but in the meantime, have George look at options.
You don't have a time limit, you just, so he can bring both options with your
He
motion.
should bring both options, hopefully he would bring both
This
options.
next board meeting?
I was aware of
Or
that.
potential 18 months, 6 months.
12 or 18-month contract, that's advanced directional contract.
Then we're up against the wall.
Yeah,
I think I said 6 months, you wanna amend it to say 6, 12 or 18 months?
I would like a 6 and an 18 month,
Yeah.
6, 12 and 18,
Yeah.
whatever, so that we get back on, it'd be 6 and 18 to get back on.
So look at options.
Yeah.
I changed it.
Yeah.
Options. You happy, Jim?
Thank you.
Catch that, George, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months out.
Yeah.
Are you good with that, Brian?
Mhm.
Second, yeah?
Yes.
Everybody good with that, say aye?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you. George.
Thanks, George.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Fairground North bathrooms funding source.
We're back. For those of you who might not know me, Charmaine Riddle, wearing a couple hats today, Fairgrounds Coordinator and, Fair Treasurer. And then we have several, Fair Board members here as well. So the North Bathrooms has been a topic of discussion for several years. It's been on a couple of capital improvement project requests, been part of the ARPA discussion, was put out on RFP, but no money has ever been allocated towards it. Many times people assume that the fair is the fairgrounds, but it is not. The fairgrounds are owned by the county. The fair happens at the fairgrounds and puts money into the fairgrounds buildings, but the fair is not the fairgrounds. So everything we put into the fairgrounds becomes property of the fairgrounds. That does make sense, believe it or not. The North Bathrooms were listed, just a little history here. The North Bathrooms were listed on a capital improvement project request for 2019 2025 by Andy Alvarado at approximately $60,000 as being needed in the next 10 years. Before Andy left, he submitted more capital improvement requests in 2022 and also included a list of projects to think about for ARPA funding. His recommendation was for a bathroom and shower building precast from Huffcut concrete at $220,000 and another $80,000 for site work, footing, and hookups for a total of $300,000. A fairgrounds stakeholder meeting was held in 2022, and the top most requested item for a long-term capital improvement project was the North Bathrooms. Another stakeholder meeting was held in 2023, and where it was again listed as a high priority. We received ARPA money to get state-approved plans, not the bathroom, just the plans. Unfortunately, it took over a year and a half to get them back. We then put out an RFP, but a few days before they were due to be opened, the ARPA money was reallocated to the Purveyor Clinic. Unfortunately, we didn't receive any bids, so we requested to put it back out on bids, as we received word from potential contractors that they would bid, but without a funding source, property would not allow it. They did forward it to finance for funds, but with no recommendation from property. This committee last month told us to go back and rethink it. Well, we did. Other options along the way have been explored, including pods, doing stick-built based on the state-approved plans. Gary still recommends cement block and estimates 200,000. He is available by phone if you have any questions. So then at the April property meeting, we went back and requested funding again, and they were agreeable with the project and sent it back again to finance, to find a funding source. There was many different funding source options discussed, but it's virtually, finance's job to come up with that, they said. The Rusk County Fair Board is a 100% volunteer board and dedicates countless hours to the fairgrounds. The bathrooms don't belong to the fair, but we are more than willing to help make it happen. We request that you allocate funds, and between Gary and the fair, we'll make it happen, whether that means we seek corporate sponsors or even contribute towards them ourselves. The fair has committed over $44,000 in fairgrounds improvements this year alone, between the east wing, new stage, and new speakers in the track area and multi-purpose building. We've heard that, so much money has been spent at the fairgrounds already. Well, there's a lot of buildings out at the fairgrounds. We've heard, why put more money into something that only gets used one time a year? Well, as fairgrounds coordinator, I can attest that there's more and more usage out there every year. This weekend alone, we have 2 groups happening at the same time. They're turning on the water because we have so many groups, just this month alone. So once again, we're more than willing to help, but we can't eat the entire cost alone. Would you please consider allocating funds towards this project? Thank you.
Any questions, comments?
Do we have any funds available to allocate?
Not budgeted, but there is general fund balance that carry forward from, unused levy in prior years. Once the restrictions were released from the wind down funds, from the, old hospital, that went back into the general fund balance. There was rent money that has rolled into that general fund balance as well, from the, hospital building from Marshfield Clinic.
My concern is we spent all this money, all this ARPA money on fairgrounds projects. And if this was such a top priority, that should have been the first project we did rather than, pushing for everything else.
But you wouldn't approve any dollar amount because we didn't have any state approved plans. Or a dollar amount from a contractor. Now we can't get contractors to do anything because it's a waste of their time because you don't even allocate money towards it. Like, it's been an issue, but it was gonna come out of ARPA funds, we all understand that.
ARPA funds, I don't believe were ever voted on to.
They weren't allocated, no, but that was a talk, like, we'll use it out of ARPA, we'll use it out of ARPA, well, that's gone.
Yeah, the problem was, if I remember correctly, Johnny, correct me if I'm wrong, was we didn't have the blueprints back. And then it kinda probably got forgotten about by this committee because we had other things that kept coming up. But you guys were still working on it, and we probably didn't even really realize it. You know, just because we hadn't seen it, so.
Yeah, we're waiting for plans to come back, I mean, well, like Char said, we waited almost a year, a little bit over.
But I remember the first number kinda coming in at like 350?
I think that was precast though,
Yep.
wasn't it? Yeah, that was for
Yeah, the
precast,
Huff
and
Cup
that's,
one, yeah.
now we're looking at just going with,
That's the one that
Block.
gave us shell shock for a bathroom
Yeah.
in the shower house.
and I
so-
understand that, you know, cause it's, precast panels aren't cheap.
So I guess my thought process was, I was trying to see what else you guys could come up with that wasn't concrete.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the point of wanting to do concrete, but that wooden one's been out there long time.
Mm-hmm.
I took showers in it when I showed at the fair. So it's been there a long time.
Mhm.
So my thought process is, if we're not gonna be able to we can't afford a storm shelter, and even if we put a storm shelter out there, which the concrete one would have classified as, I guess.
Yeah.
When you have 400 people out there and you only get 50 people in it,
Yeah, that's where, I mean, the shower part and the restroom part is for the fair, the storm shelter really isn't.
right,
You know, cause we don't have, I mean, unless you build something the size of a gymnasium out of concrete, we don't have anywhere to house all those people that are there, and we understand that. I did talk to a contractor yesterday that has kind of been dabbling with this, but he's like, is there gonna, you know, am I gonna put all this together just to find out that, yeah, they're not gonna do anything? And I said, well, it was kicked around about doing a stick built, and his words were, why would you do a stick built? You lose your longevity with it. And I get it too, it might be a little bit cheaper, in the beginning. But his thing was you lose a lot of longevity by going stick built. And it's constant maintenance when you're talking about having something stick built and water.
And Gary did, talk to the person who did our state approved plans and specifically asked if we could do stick built based on those plans. And he talked about this at property, and I don't understand the terminology, but it was something like, there are state approved panels that you could use. He doesn't know that if you'd save money, you'd sacrifice durability. But yes, you could do wood frame with stick built.
cause I mean, that wood frame has gotta be all 40 years old, maybe a little more, that's out there now.
How old are the ones on the south end?
Gosh, I think those were
Those
too
are
old.
old.
I'd have to pull inventory.
And besides, I mean, they need a little bit of an uplift, just with kind of some of the piping, or, you know, plumbing side of things, but other than that, those are actually in pretty solid shape.
That is
Right.
block, correct?
And that's all block.
Yep.
Cause Gary said, yeah, he said there's a few, you know, I think minor maintenance things. You know, the one we have now is just, it's a constant maintenance nightmare out there. I mean, it was, I think, 2 years ago that a pipe burst in the ceiling and the whole thing turned into a shower house, one giant shower. You know, the plumbing is also equally as old as that, so.
Do you remember why it took us so long to get the state approved plans back? Because they've been approved for quite a while before we got them.
And that you'd have to call the engineer again.
Well, and Gary, I could call Gary and have him, he just kept waiting it was something about the winter was so nice that they were still busy doing contract work or whatever, and, you know, I'll get to it by the end of the year. Well, I think we just got him like 2 months ago.
2 or 3, I think.
Yeah,
I think it was probably 3, and then the next month they went out for RFPs.
so maybe they just didn't get harassed enough, but, it's like, move us up on your priority list, but the damage is done. I mean, can't change it.
What's the size on this?
I don't know, is how many,
There's
8,
8 complete units, so it'll have a toilet, shower, sink, all, so it could be family, whatever, all completely lockable, so it'll be more safe. But I don't know the size of
I thought
them.
the plans were based on how many fixtures too.
it does, state approved plans go on how many fixtures, and I don't recall that number if it's 12, or if it's anything over like 15.
But even if we didn't go state plans, that rule of thumb still plays, right?
As far as what?
How many fixtures?
Yeah, a fixture, I mean, what we're talking about right now is if we have 8 units and they got a sink, toilet and a shower.
Floor drain.
And floor drain, so that's 32 fixtures. You know, so you could try to probably piece it out, but then so then you end up with just a couple shower houses and a couple bathrooms.
Kinda what you got now, right?
Yeah, which the wind blows right, the doors of the showers, well, not showers, but bathrooms come open, the showers are just curtains, so.
So we're kinda doubling it from what I'm understanding, so we got roughly 2 on each side now, so we'd have 8
Yeah.
that would be universal, so we're
Yeah.
4 units.
And then, and it wouldn't be, and since they're all like individual, you don't have like a boys and a girls, correct? Cause it's all,
Right.
you all enter from the outside.
It's all whatever, yep.
And if we have other events, you have the possibility of actually charging people per shower. like, you know.
It's coin operated.
Oh, yeah, it's coin operated, so they would be able to, I mean, I don't know how much money that's gonna make, but hey, you know, $5 is $5.
But it's been proven, I mean, adding the concrete into the multi-purpose barn, we have more loadings now, we have more usage. So yes, it's a huge expense up front, but any revenue that does come in by usage goes back to the county. Does not go to the fair, it goes back to the fairgrounds budget, so, that expense there is already profited.
I think the coin operated showers might not make you revenue, but it might save you a lot in the water bill.
Well, it would probably do that too, so. But at least it would be something to kinda come back to, you know, if there is maintenance or something on it, then, you know, you'd have it, but. These are a lot more maintenance friendly, cause there's that raceway down the center where only maintenance can get into, so all your plumbing is like right there versus now, I mean, if something breaks, it's, I don't know where.
Close the bathroom.
Yeah, shut everything down, where if one unit has an issue, we can shut one unit down, keep 7 others open. So. I mean, we're all about trying to, you know, as far as the fair, I mean, we're all about trying to make this as cost friendly as possible, but we need a starting point.
He was right about the fact that the plans took so long, and I'll be the first to admit, I forgot all about it too.
If we were gonna do something, Jamie, you have a recommended source that you say out of the hospital fund is the general budget.
So it would require, I mean, it would require an amendment, for sure.
What's in general currently?
I don't have the current number, cause I haven't finished building out,
Ballpark?
20 million.
But in the budget, what's in, what's in that one? Contingency.
Oh, contingency, 135,000, that's not allocated yet for this year.
Then we,
That isn't, yeah, because we,
that'll go by the end of the year.
well, and some of that, it might become more because 50,000 of it was earmarked for the animal shelter full-time, and 15,000 was for Trails End Bridge.
No,
So we had 200,000 in general contingency.
the year's not over yet. That's what it says.
That cap. No.
Came out of contingency. I requested the other 35,000 to go towards it, but there was no motion on that.
The black cap,
Oh, I think that, yeah, for the
Yeah.
east wing,
35,000 went to the east wing.
yeah,
That was last cap.
yep, yeah, but swinging bridge was
so
contingency.
there's still, 64,000 in that cap.
That one has no ties to it.
Right.
You educate me what an ICAC does.
It's, yes, it's basically, it's similar to the ARPA, dollars, it's local area tribal consistency fund. For short term, flat cap, and so we received $100,000, and there's no timeline on it like there was with ARPA. So we have spent $36,000, or allocated $36,000 out of that so
It's
far.
restricted for use.
Any government purpose.
Okay.
Didn't the rest of that go to housing authority or something?
Mm-hmm.
No, housing authority was ARPA.
Oh,
We did 1,000 donation and then the 35 for fairgrounds.
east
So
wing.
there should be roughly 64 left in it. And we normally get what, 50 a year?
We got 50 for 2 years and that's it, like.
Okay,
yeah.
that's,
100,000
There's no more
was
from
the
there.
whole.
our other option? Borrow it?
Yes, but again, that expense wouldn't have been budgeted for this year too, so we're still looking at whether we borrow it, whether we spend it out of the general fund balance, it's still, you know, be an amendment to the budget. Which, you know, we do budget
I think
amendments.
we better have to move some over to the hospital or whatever, than to borrow it, is my thought. Huh? Right. I'm with you. I'm just throwing it out there so everybody knows.
Well, the biggest thing is, I guess you're throwing a number on it, but then we actually need to know a final number of bill.
What?
And they said they might be able to fundraise as part of it.
Right, so,
And what's the likelihood that they're actually gonna be able to put it up yet this year? I mean, I know most
There is
contractors are pretty
a
well-
slight chance, but it would be September to October.
It'd be better to actually
It's
do
when it
it
would be-
after the fair, cause we have so many weddings and things, it would be very disruptive.
I mean, ain't much for bathrooms down there, but it's better than having them tore down completely right now.
Would it be wise to take that lab cap money and designate it for this project and then budget the rest for 25?
that's what I was thinking, but yeah, I just didn't say that out loud.
Black cap doesn't expire, right?
No.
It's just sitting there anyways. I kind of got myself.
But then does that fit their window of being able to, that still pushes it up to 25, doesn't
But-
it? They couldn't build this fall.
If it gets, well, it's possible, that was the first option was, you know, if we get it done, it's gonna be September, October. Just because of the usage out at the fairgrounds, the weddings, and then the fair itself. I mean, we're too tight of a window to really get that locked down, contractors are pretty busy. If we got it locked down for next year, I mean, we can throw it out and get on a contractor's list and be the first one done in the spring.
I was just gonna say, would you be disappointed if it rolled into 25?
No,
We would just be incredibly elated to have money earmarked for it, so we
Yes.
could move forward and you don't need to see us.
cause at 2025 right
I
now,
know you
I
wanna
mean,
see us, Jim.
yeah, we can get out the RFP
Absolutely, Katie.
and have somebody set up and ready to go, you know.
Cause we wouldn't have to
Easily,
pay anything until next year
Yeah,
if
we
we
don't
did
have
it
to
next
pay
year.
anything till next
We
year.
just need the
so.
money
So
earmarked
we
for it.
still have plenty of time between whatever you can do.
And then if we get bids, it gives us a little more time if
Fundraising
we have to
and-
fundraise for it and.
We could budget something at that time to give us time.
Well, I definitely don't wanna use contingency this early in the year, there's too many things that are gonna come around.
That's all we do.
There will be more things that come around the pike, especially the way this economy's been going so far. Could be 10 here, 10 there, 20 here, 15 there, here, Chris says it's gonna be, oh, where'd that go?
I also don't wanna get to the 25 budgeting process and be like, oh, we gotta borrow money because we're overspending.
We can earmark it, like Brian mentioned, you know, designate for that, if for some reason the project doesn't go through, then we just change
Yeah,
it.
if they're getting a contractor lined up.
Well, right, but we gotta come up with the rest of the funds by the end of the year for them, that's gonna be the issue.
It also gives them a chance to get some fundraising lined up. Maybe we won't be on the hook for as much.
Maybe we'll only have to come up with 110 or 20 out of the 25 budget. I mean, who knows until you get some, until you really get some bids, who knows?
Right. But I think they want, they want something to go on though, because it's like John said earlier. If we're gonna call for this, there'll be nothing or act on it. The contractors do this, and that's why we got no one here. Because how many times have we sent this out and they just got pushed to the curb?
She said there's 65 or 64.
64.
I move that we allocate $64,000 from the LACAP fund for the purpose of building the unit as proposed for bathrooms on north part of the fairgrounds. With the balance to be budgeted in 2025.
And we'll be spending that 64,000 in 2020.
Correct.
Cause that expenditure will have to be budgeted.
Yep.
That too.
Do you wanna put a limit on your motion?
That would be wise.
To be total, I mean, total.
Not to exceed the bid of 220,000 in total.
So I have a motion on the floor by Mr. Collins. And then, you know,
I don't know if I can.
do I have a second?
He was spot on.
Do I have a second?
Wait for you. I know you want to. I'll let you do that. Second. Phil doesn't like to make any motions for the fairgrounds.
I have a second by Mr. Myers.
Motions for the fairgrounds.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all the money
Thank
you
you so
have
much.
allocated and all the projects out at the fairgrounds. And please, take a moment to drive by. The huge surprise I've been talking about for months, it's done, it's up, it's amazing. So, but thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
You guys aren't coming back anytime soon, are you?
I'm gonna come back next month just to say hi to
Come
you.
and sit and watch, that's it.
Do capital improvement project requests come here? That was a joke.
Have a great day.
Hi, no timed one.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Number 5, suspension of departmental credit card due to non-compliance.
Okay, so this is one that, the committee had previously asked, you know, to kind of carry forward, every month agenda item. We have departmental credit cards, there's,
I noticed a few accidental charges in the, is that pertaining to this?
this isn't accidental charges, this is in relation to, you know, purchases being made on cards and not getting those invoices entered in timely for reporting purposes.
Yep.
So this committee had said, you know, within 30 days of that purchase is a reasonable amount of time to be able to get that, invoice entered in. So at the beginning of this week, I looked to see which transactions were missing, and there was about 27 of them. I'm working with departments. I sent out, I think, about 7 emails to various departments saying, hey, you know, these transactions are missing, please get them entered in. They're all pretty much cleared up now. There's a few of them that were still kind of in process. We have one department head that's, out indefinitely. So, you know, those ones we're still working on, but, we're finding a workaround. And there's another one where it was maybe a fraudulent charge that we're disputing with the credit card company. But I'm really having issues with, you know, when one department is maybe ordering something for another department, not getting that invoice given to that other department until I send the nastygram, and I wouldn't say nastygram, but, email saying, hey, you know, you've got missing transactions, and then all of a sudden, now those departments are getting it maybe a month after that purchase was actually made. So I'm really kind of struggling with, you know, cause I'm spending a considerable amount of time following up on these transactions every month, trying to make sure that they get entered in timely when. So, kind of looking for guidance from you guys on, you know, do I just keep doing what I'm doing and spend time?
Do we have repeat offenders? Is that what we're dealing with here?
Yes.
And you went to the department head and talked to him about it?
They're copied in on those emails, yes.
And they're not responding to you?
I did get after I sent this time, I did get an email back that, oh, these ones were sent out to departments, these ones are entered in, that, you know, we're actually related to my department, half of them are related to others. But,
Well, we obviously have a huge problem when we just shut off a card. Because then there's services that are linked to those cards. We found it from the last little tirade that came out to the entire board, the last time a card got shut off. So maybe we need to look at this a little different way. Maybe the department head needs to be brought in here. If the department head can't control their department when it comes to expenditures, then we got a problem anyhow.
I think it comes down to the department head buying stuff for other departments, and other departments are more than amenable to buy their own stuff.
Yeah.
Then we need to have a talk with the individual.
well, and a lot of these purchases are on Amazon, there's like a nice little button, like share this item, and you can just send it to somebody via email, via text, whatever, and then they can order it. But, and I've made that recommendation, but.
So are some of these like important items that get bought for the department, or do they seem frivolous to you?
Some of them, like the one that I was still hunting down today was a keyboard, which in my opinion is more of an office supply that the department should be ordering, it shouldn't necessarily.
And departments have the ability to order their own keyboards, right? They don't have to go through IT.
No, yeah, correct. There was one, a couple of them that was like probably about $2,200 worth of purchases from Amazon, so it's a significant, couple purchases. It was a printer and some ink. But again, that department could have ordered it, once they got the recommendation.
I don't think it's right for the finance department. I mean, you guys already have to go over these bills, which is your job. You're the auditor. But to be sitting here and nagging people is a bunch of baloney. And if they can't do it, department heads can't handle it, then I guess maybe we need to bring them in here and talk to them. No one has to agree with me, but bring them in here and talk to them, and then if they don't get the hint, shut it off. But we know, like I said, from the last time one got shut off, oh my God, the sky was falling, and this wasn't gonna get paid for by the county, and that wasn't gonna get paid for by the county, so I was wondering after I read the email, did you end up having 10 times more work to do after that happened?
Well, yeah, because I was the one that finally did hunt down the missing invoices to get that card reactivated, so that.
So, did we
I
necessarily?
called vendors, I asked them to email me those invoices directly so that I could get them entered in to get that.
I think it needs to come here, and then if it can't be handled, it needs to be referred to personnel, because then it becomes a disciplinary issue.
Well, and quite honestly, it's not just credit cards. How many emails have we gotten in the last month saying, hey, we're just wondering the status of, payment on this invoice?
Yeah, and phone calls as well, asking why there are outstanding invoices, like 60 plus. I think the last one I got, invoices due in February. So then that's, I was referred that phone message from a highway department staff member, and then I had to call and track that down, and just a lot of time being put into it.
Why are departments ordering for other departments?
In certain cases, it does make sense, because sometimes with, like say I have a vendor that I have an account set up with them, and they, have my credit card on file or whatever, and I need to, somebody needs something, I can order it for them. For example, the visitor center, we don't have county staff out at the visitor center, so they're not allowed to use a county credit card out there. So they need something, they'll let Ashley or I know, and I'll order a whole purchase form, and then I take that invoice and I'll run it to Ashley, and Ashley will approve the expense and get stuff done.
Okay, so I needed to order something, and I was ordering it through Granger. Jamie let me know that the maintenance department has an agreement with Granger, okay, so then they already know that there's no sales tax that they charge to us. So Charmaine helped me with that order, she put the order in, but then she immediately, the second that order was completed, shot me the invoice to take care of.
Okay, so how many bad actors are there that you're dealing with?
There's 2 departments that are pretty much always on that list. Maybe, 3, yeah, 3 technically, yeah.
I think this is a personnel issue. It goes to expectations of their job.
And they have been, these last few months when I've been hounding them like a week before the finance meeting, like, hey, you need to get these invoices in to avoid having it brought to the attention of the finance department, but it's those same departments every month.
And we have something in our financial procedures manual,
Yes.
right?
Yep,
regarding
and I
this?
send a snip of that exact policy every time I have to send it.
Has this been addressed at department head meetings?
Yes, we brought it up months ago, I think. Yeah.
Yes, and I sent out a department-wide email, or, to all the department heads after you guys wanted that policy made known. You directed me to send out a memo to all of them saying, hey, this is the policy, we are going to enforce it.
Well, this is childish. It's a childishness, wasting other people's time. So I guess it sounds like it needs to go to personnel. I mean, I guess how do we go about taking it to personnel? Each department that's, what's your thoughts, Bill? You've been pondering over there, I know.
Yeah, well, I was wondering that send it to personnel, just how far
I might ask, you know, Jamie what those 3 departments are and who their oversight committee is, because by ordinance, the oversight committee has jurisdiction over that budget. And I think that we should give the oversight committee a chance to address this with their department.
I like that. I think the oversight committee, they're signing off on these invoices before they come here.
If you have 3 different departments, and 3 different oversight committees, and it gets handled in 3 different ways, because this is a multiple department issue, I think it's better to afford the personnel so they can handle more consistently. Otherwise, you're gonna open up that can, well, this oversight committee did it this way, these people did it this way.
I'm hoping that if the oversight committee handles it, maybe we won't have to go that far. But it sounds like, I don't know how we're gonna get around that. Because we've been talking about it now for how many months? 6 months? At least 4. Probably 4.
Right, for us, we didn't talk about it before we ever had it.
Well, and is their oversight committee gonna say, well, then take away their credit card, if that's the problem, I mean,
Yeah, we don't wanna do that either. I think that's the other thing.
but why not?
I think it'd be better if, what, you say take away or?
Why not take away the credit
Well, take
card?
away.
Because, I mean, that would solve the problem of them charging stuff for other departments to their card. They're gonna have to send that invoice to their departments to pay.
So okay, if we're gonna take away their credit card, maybe we need to have a little better plan. So
Well,
that things aren't
And
shut off.
honestly, those departments should have that plan when they're warned, like, if this doesn't happen, your card is going to be taken away. Because,
But if we turn it off, isn't there in some cases subscriptions or whatever that then don't get paid? Is there a way to just take the card?
the
Is there another way
physical
to
card
do
isn't
it?
the problem.
That
Yeah,
card is
it's
linked to numerous
Mhm.
accounts.
I mean, this, you know, one of those departments just recently had to get a new credit card, so they were aware of how to change that card to a different card number.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what the solution is exactly, but
So they already have a workaround, if they have more than one card in that department.
right, and they, yes.
I don't think finance can tell other departments how to handle the personnel issues. I think, the best way to handle it is you're consistent, is forwarded to personnel, for personnel plan, maybe HR can get involved and help with some recommendations as well. Sorry.
No, that's fine, with one of the departments, I have made recommendations for the past month or 2. regarding-
Personnel. About
To,
this.
no, me as HR to one of our department heads about said issues.
Are they responding?
Well, it hasn't changed,
Okay,
so,
okay. I was trying to find another way to do it without having to go as far as personnel to, but it sounds like we don't have much choice.
Yeah, given it's not just a one-off, it's not just one person. If we're not consistent, have personnel humble something to be consistent all the way across the board, we're gonna open up this department, this committee did this committee did this.
Do we have too much access out there to credit cards?
No, honestly, like, if each person, I mean, I feel like the more individual people that have their own credit card, they're held accountable for that. If you've got 5 people sharing the same credit card, it's not as easy to tell who purchased what.
What if you prohibited ordering for another department? So,
Well, and I have made that recommendation at property, and
because we ran into a similar situation at the University of Minnesota when they switched to PeopleSoft. You could order stuff or transfer expenses, any department you wanted to, the other department said, what am I getting billed for this for? That's not mine. It was a Wild West.
Mhm.
I mean, it wasn't approved or anything, you could just transfer expenses to any department you wanted to and everything, until they tried to rope that in. It sounds like this too, you know, if okay, you can only charge for your own department, and you're held responsible for it.
Even highway might order culverts and bill them out to forestry because they're ordering culverts out.
but then they do a departmental transfer sheet for that, and that department is signing off on that expense.
To be fair, I don't think they even, I'm one built one, I didn't even know, for instance, when I got my new phone, he was like, what color phone case do you want? I said, I don't care, I didn't even think, you know, and that was one of them that was missing, is the phone case, and I didn't even realize, I guess, that I needed an invoice to code my phone case, I don't know if some of that is happening too, you know, since the phone was being ordered, well, here's your accessories.
But maybe that should be made aware to the departments, if you're having somebody order stuff for you, do realize you're gonna get an invoice, I mean, if you're new, you know, it's understandable, but if this has happened multiple times now, and every time the departments that are having another department order for them are asking them to order, they have to be at some point aware that.
There's a lot of, disconnection there, because it could be somebody that's like, say, you know, one of the nurses in public health wants a keyboard, and so they ask IT to, you know, hey, can you get me a keyboard? Thinking that maybe that cost is supposed to hit the IT budget or some other general budget, and so they get the new keyboard, they never have anything to do with invoices, so they're not looking to get something in order to process that payment through, so then.
That department head needs to explain to everybody in that department as well. If you order something, I gotta be aware because I gotta be able to ask for the invoice. I mean,
They shouldn't have to ask for the invoice.
Multiple levels of miscommunication here, that's what I'm saying.
Like, I need a new battery for this. I can't order that, I have no clue. You couldn't order it, I can. So,
No, probably not.
Well, and that's fine, but it still is kind of falling on department heads to make sure that they're communicating correctly with their employees.
Right, but if the department heads don't know that their employee ordered a keyboard or something, and that, you know, that
Then they
expense.
need to be telling their employees, if you do this, you need to be proactive.
If you're ordering stuff from IT or wherever,
Okay, shouldn't IT be, proactive enough to say, did you clear this with your department head? So aren't they just guilty by just putting it in their own hands and ordering it? And they don't say nothing?
That's where, you know, if you just forwarded the link, then.
what I'm saying is
it
there's
could be-
guilt on multiple levels.
Correct, so everybody's guilty here on all ends, so.
Would a PO system help this at all or make it worse? I'm not sure how you manage it.
It'd be, we would need another half an FTE just to manage that PO system. I mean, that's for bigger places where they have a purchasing department where that's all they deal with.
I think it really just comes down to the fact that a certain department gets the bill and they just sit on it. And they don't send it out to the proper places. And then when it comes to Jamie or whoever down the line, they have to track it down, and then the department finds out, oh, you know, I had that bill, but it's sat in IT forever. This is where this is really starting.
Well, we said there was three departments, so.
Yeah, but the other two departments aren't ordering things for other departments, you know, or that's not the invoices that are getting hung up here.
I'm not saying they're all guilty, but again, IT should actually touch base with the department head, that one of their workers in that department ordered something to clarify, is it okay to even do that? Or at least know that there's an invoice that's gonna come through.
Why can't each department have a PO system? I had this trouble in my previous place, and
Well,
I had numerous
and
credit
for the
cards
most
out,
part, like in
and I put in a
HHS.
PO system, and then when the first one that stepped over the line, I shut the credit card off. I took one there and cut it into pieces right on my desk.
Well, in HHS, they have like departmental credit cards, so if they need something, they typically then will let somebody in the fishbowl know. They'll order it for them and then route it for the necessary coding and stuff like that, so this is kind of messing with their process too. I did talk to Jeremy Jacobs about it today, and he was like, we would prefer to just order it ourselves, so that way we know that it's getting processed correctly.
So then,
So is that a
if
simple?
that conversation is done though, on both sides, so IT's not submitting an invoice. And they're talking to them, but if the department heads are allowing people to willy-nilly buy stuff without communicating that we wanna order it ourselves instead of ordering it through IT or wherever else, now we got twice as many people trying to stop this from creating less for you. I think the department head should have that talk with their employees, their people under them as well, that don't be ordering stuff, if you're gonna order something, make sure you get the invoice back for it. Now you got two sets of eyes looking at it, right? You got twice as
40 people instead of just one.
I mean, we gotta talk to the department heads, how many department heads are there?
Well, when you're talking about HHS, it's not just the department heads, it's also the supervisors that,
You don't think the department heads able to tell the people that if they're gonna order through wherever he wants it ordered from?
do you want 40 people coming to you to say, you know, for all of that, or do you delegate that out more?
I would send an email to me, if they don't have emails, then tell them in person.
Yeah, I'm with Phil, I mean, the
I don't
department
think
heads
it's
gotta
overly
get control of their
complicated to send an
departments.
email, I'm just saying, why wouldn't you at least communicate that to try to help out? I mean, that doesn't mean, that might not be where corrective action is, but we should at least, the more communication we do, the more chances of succeeding you have, right?
Well, I mean, let's go about it this way. So for every department, who submits their budget every year?
The department head.
Okay,
And they work with their financial staff on that.
so they're taking responsibility for what they're asking for to spend for their department for the year. And if they're gonna ask for that, then they should be able to handle their expenditures.
I guess, you know, just be clear, we're kind of pushing this at Jamie, it's not Jamie's fault.
No, and I know.
We can
She's
send it to
one of-
personnel, that's
I
fine.
know, but but we're kind of, you know, jumping down her, like, this is this, and that. I was in her office today, and she was diligently trying to find all this billing and stuff, and she spent her whole day supposed to be pissing away, looking for other people's problems, because they can't solve them. So I understand it's a personnel problem, but it also reflects back to the people upstairs. It's just as good to communicate both ways. IT. They're the ones that are getting a lot of their stuff. Am I
Right, but
correct on saying
if,
that?
what I'm saying is if we want less work for Jamie, if we get everybody on the same page instead of just going after one person, we get everybody to try to do a little bit better, we're gonna save Jamie some time, because I agree with you, Jamie works very hard. And she doesn't give me Jason's invoices.
I hear exactly what you're saying, Phil, and I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I guarantee you, we have the same conversation in 2 months, it's not gonna change.
Well, I guess back to what he said earlier, I mean, if we wanna take it, it would help take some of it off our shoulders, we just refer to personnel and see what they come up with.
We can shove it there, I don't have a problem with that either. I don't wanna kick the can back and forth for the
Right.
next 2 months and go back at the same scenario, because again, this is the second time I've heard this, and I haven't been on personnel that long.
And personnel address credit card usage.
Finance.
Right, I don't really think this is a personnel issue at this time. I don't believe that's the proper committee to deal with this.
I just think pull the card, it's out of it. They can't get their invoices in.
I would disagree, I think it is a personnel issue.
Can I respectfully ask what you guys are looking for personnel to do about it?
Well,
Like fix the process or
personnel,
deal
if
with
there's-
the,
If there's 3 different departments having issues with getting their invoices, and they potentially, answer to 3 different committees, personnel could at least come up with a plan where every committee resolves their issues in the same way.
so we're looking at like a process change for personnel possibly?
Yeah, and they,
Like a
but
policy
if
process change?
there's issues with personnel, department heads, they could also look at corrective action for the individual people that are having issues.
So what you're talking about is discipline.
Great, but if we're looking at discipline, that needs to come from the oversight committee.
We're not trying to discipline.
I mean, do you wanna change the policy that, hey, if you are ordering something from another department, you have, say, 7 days from the purchase date to get that invoice to that department, so that they can get it in within that 30 days? I mean, I feel like that kind of should go without saying, but obviously, that's not,
If we start having repeat offenders though, to Phil's point, then what choice do we have but discipline? You wanna turn off the card and then turn it back on for a month because they're good, and turn it back off 3-4 times a year if it comes to that? Not saying it will, but we were hoping, I think the mindset behind the personnel or finance by doing this, we turned somebody's card off, and we thought, I don't know what Phil was thinking, but I was thinking that, okay, this would be their wake-up call and they get their act together. It doesn't sound like that's happening.
No, and I'm the one that went and hunted down those invoices so that credit card could get reactivated. No, but other departments were being told, oh, that thing that I told you I already ordered, well, I can't order it now because I don't have a credit card, so I can't buy that for you, it's like,
So they're giving you the pay card.
I got jumped by several departments about that.
And see, this is where this is wrong too, she goes and does something based on what we decide here, and then she gets all wrapped up. We don't see that.
It's a waste of your time.
It
Your time is spent better.
It is.
So we don't think there's a personnel problem going on right now?
Well, personnel says, oh, well, we refer it back to the finance committee to have their credit card deactivated.
That's all that
Do you
was.
think that's all they're gonna do?
I don't know.
I think they're probably gonna ask, what did the oversight committee say?
That we recommend personnel.
The oversight committee of the department.
The oversight committee of the credit cards is actually finance.
Right, but if you're talking about like
That'd be
a
property, right?
department not following a process.
So if we're talking IT is property, is there oversight committee, isn't it? Finance is not the oversight committee, right?
But it's here because of the policy is not.
Be involved.
So who do we need to shut up?
Well, at this very moment, those invoices are in now, or the ones for that department are in now, because I worked with down in the departments that those invoices related to get them in.
But you're not wanting to do that every single month, last minute.
Well, no, because I got, I could just let it be, and then it would come here and they would truly be out of compliance. But then I'm gonna be told that I didn't communicate properly with them, that I should have told them, oh, you have these invoices that are missing. And so I have been trying to get, working with them every month, and it's, I thought, well, maybe next month it'll be, they'll. But I mean, we can just let it be, and then, do you want me to continue to follow up with them, or do you?
Maybe you should just let them ride, let them come right here.
Have they given you any reason on why they can't follow the process?
No, I haven't, no.
What started this, just so some of the new members know, back, I don't remember what month it was, but we would see on here, on the monthly report, you remember, I think. All of a sudden, there'd be a whole bunch from 4 or 5 months ago in here. You gotta watch the dates. And we started asking Jamie, what's this about? And then Jamie informed us, well, we've been doing this, blah, 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 and this so far, some of these departments are behind on turning in their invoices. You get towards the end of the year, that becomes a problem, huge
When we're
problem.
in the budget process and trying to get an accurate 6 month. Or when it does relate to another department.
And they were
Like all of a
ignoring
sudden a
her
$2,000
emails.
computer that they didn't realize was going to hit their budget, or that it cost that much. Going, hey, I don't think we should have to pay for this. It's like, well,
It is 3 departments have the same oversight board.
no.
So my question is, say we send 2 departments. One department treats it differently than the next. What kind of cancer is that going on?
Well,
I mean, I don't care, but if we start being a little inconsistent, then every committee treats everything differently.
It may not make any difference, because each situation is different too. And so as long as the process works, maybe what you were talking about, maybe you change policy manual, like, within 7 days, you gotta do the invoice so it can get processed within 30 days. And the other thing too is that if there's outstanding invoices in there, I think that affects perception of the county paying its bills on time too.
Yeah, and that part's not even related to the credit cards, at least with the credit cards, it's paid, the vendor doesn't, it makes no difference to the vendor if the invoice isn't entered in. But there've been instances where it's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars that aren't getting paid because,
What's our policy on?
and they're paying invoices, well, that's dictated by the vendors.
Yeah, get them on time.
You know, sometimes they want it within 30 days, sometimes 60.
So if we attend that past, everybody's on back to the invoices are there.
Right.
So then we get charged. right,
They
for it.
typically don't charge us a service charge, there's a few,
Typically, but have we paid?
not on these big ones,
There's some service charges on the highway.
yes, yeah.
That's
That-
what, that was another red flag that caught our attention as to when that all went down.
Okay, so why don't we just let the department heads, send it to the department, or your oversight committees, just see what bounces back at it. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, I don't know.
Then we're just back here in another months. Or I suppose
or
they
do we
make the
do-
recommendation of personnel at that point.
Maybe we should send it this way back to them, get your department under control, or their cards will be shut off. Maybe it needs to come with a little more heat with it, I don't,
You have to
let them know that they have a problem.
shutting cards off if there's subscriptions attached to it. I think it's
All right,
wiser to take the account away or something.
right,
We don't
I
want,
agree.
we don't want to, all of a sudden the county didn't bounce the credit card.
well, yeah, you get those things you don't know about, and then all of a sudden they got an issue.
Well, why don't you, if there's 3 departments that are this size, tell the department heads that this is gonna go to your oversight committee and for further action.
What's
Do we
your
do it
motion?
now or give them
What's your
one
motion,
more
Terry?
month and say, going forward, I'm not going to send reminders of what's.
No, you
not
put
entered.
manpower into it, I say we do it right now. I don't like this kicking can, we've been already
I
talking
mean,
about
but they
this for
are
months.
at this point
I
in
don't care.
compliance because I,
That's fine,
Because you
because
did-
you did a lot of legwork.
Yeah, you did it for them,
No,
Right.
it needs to change now.
so there's a problem.
So
I mean,
want
can you and
feedback.
Ashley convey that to the necessary committees and tell them it's been brought to their, I mean, just let them know some of our discussion? And they need to address it, that we're gonna come up with something.
I think you might actually G, right? But yes, in my personal opinion, that's the proper course of action, because if there is something going on with these departments and you guys send it right to personnel, you're bypassing their oversight committee. Department heads report right to their oversight committee, so then their boss, in essence, isn't aware of what's going on. So I would agree with that recommendation.
I think it's worth a shot, and then if we have to make a policy, then we have to make a policy, and however, which way we decide then, we'll do.
okay, so
Is that a
to
motion?
forward to the respective oversight committees, for,
Consideration, cause I mean, I guess at this point you said they're all in compliance, so my guess is that none of the oversight committees will refer this to personnel unless, and we don't know, as finance, you guys don't know if there are other issues that this oversight committee has addressed with that department before, so if it's an ongoing thing and they're like, we're hearing about this again, they might refer it to
I don't know
personnel.
if we need
to
a
address
motion,
the issue.
I think we just make a recommendation that you guys give these oversight committees a warning and make them aware.
I was just gonna say that,
I don't know if we need a motion on a recommendation, we just need a consensus. You okay with that, Phil?
I'm good with it.
recommend
I'm
that
just-
the non-compliance be brought.
I know
to
what you're
the
saying.
oversight committee.
I don't wanna be back here in 2 months, so.
If we come
If
back,
that works,
if we come back
great.
in 2 months, Jack, and we're gonna fight it in the ass.
If that works, great.
Yeah, one more time,
I hope it
I think
does.
it's coming back, I'm just gonna tell you right now, I think it's coming back. It's not
Well,
gonna stop.
no, it's not coming back. The thing is at this point, then the oversight committee goes straight to personnel.
But I don't know if you'll stop it, I mean, we only have a couple, there'll probably be another one. It's probably gonna keep going until we either stop it here. I I'm just on the fence whether it should be a personnel thing or just finance, just be done with it.
If you was, okay, so here, let me tell you something. If it was a finance thing, if you wanna stop it right here, right now, what do you get thrown out for?
Well, Jamie didn't like my ideas.
I didn't ask him, I'm asking you.
Well, then you gotta put it on lockdown, and you gotta, I don't know if maybe there's a better system out there that I'm not aware of, but I think everyone's gonna have to ask for permission before they can spend.
I know,
But then that,
Well, you can make
that
it too.
becomes disciplinary at that point.
And so we go
Right,
back to
if,
micromanaging.
if it's just, we're doing that to, because you're not gonna do that to the whole county. Everybody, the whole county asks permission before you spend, you're gonna do it to the individuals that are having a problem, right?
Well, right, and then how do you manage that, so.
That's disciplinary. At that point, it does have to be Right.
Then it turns into micromanaging, no babysitting. I am not, able to sit here and babysit these people. I mean, they're grown adults, they can't do what they're supposed to do.
I mean, the oversight committees may not even know that this is going on. So I think that's the first.
I guess, got some new board members and stuff, let's give these committees a chance to see if they can get it under wraps. Got some new blood, committees moved around,
I agree,
let's give it a shot.
let them have a shot at it. When it comes back in 2 months, then you can say, oh, we said that.
I think what happens in a lot of committees, we don't know, here's the other thing, we don't know, let's be honest, guys. So when we're doing payment approvals, we don't know unless we see some dates out of whack, that there's an issue with them turning in invoices to finance on time. We're approving their payments that got posted for that month. So, you know, either we have to have a way to convey that to those committees so that they know and give them the opportunity to do it, but then that puts Jamie or Ashley on the hot seat all the time, because then they gotta go to these committees and be the tattletale. Because someone can't do their thing.
And what day is she reconciling these invoices? Is she gonna, every time before somebody has a committee meeting? come
Yeah,
up
and
with
we
how many
can't do
invoices-
that.
How many invoices are behind? You'd have another half-time person doing that.
Or you let them fall where they fall, send the committee chair and vice chair, or that committee, an email, and say, hey, you're way out, this committee's way out of compliance, this department's way out of compliance, and you need to address this at your next meeting, please. Maybe that would do it.
I think if they're not transferring invoices to other departments after X number of days, it's their department's cost.
That's a problem too though, because,
Cause you can't post them correctly.
well, yeah, and the cost should be allocated where they're supposed to
I
go. We
get
shouldn't have
that.
one department eating the cost of another department, especially if that other department has grant funding available or other funding sources to be able to pay for that expense.
But here's one that Brian can point. So you're saying the department that ordered it isn't sending the invoice to the department that needs to be claiming it, correct?
Right,
Correct.
cause they ordered
So
what
what's the
somebody
department
else.
that ordered it that didn't send the invoice over, eat it, and when they're over budget?
That's what I just said.
Yeah, that's what I took from Brian's comment.
Yeah, but
I know that
that's part of the problem too.
There's operational cost, Jim, it's not gonna
Like-
matter if they come in and their budget, they budgeted $80,000 and you added $40,000 to their budget, there's still, a big part of budgets are just wages, right? So you're still, they're not gonna spend less, because
Right.
they're paying for somebody else's budget. We're just gonna do a budget transfer and that really doesn't fix it.
We're just gonna be overspending because that one department's gonna be eating those costs and this other department's gonna think, hey, I'm under budget, I can go buy this set and still fit that in my budget.
Yeah, but you're gonna catch that, cause you're gonna see the invoices, you're gonna know what's going on with the invoices already.
So then she's tracking who's got 40,000 spent in the other person's budget that should be spending 40,000 less out of their own
Yes.
budget.
And I do find some of those and I move them because that's not where that expense belongs.
Are we all in like agreement?
We're gonna send it to the department.
Just to send it to the department.
Or the committee.
Departments
Or
have
committees.
Oversight committees, we gotta move on, this part of our.
Whatever expenses starts up, I have to enter again. And I have to put all the expenses in. If I don't do that, if I miss a month, it's shut off until I get it fixed.
Mine's same way.
That's
I got a
That's
guy,
what it is. If
I'll
I don't
stuff
keep
every
it,
month.
yeah.
Better yet, they just tell me I'm responsible for it. That's what works for our, they're just like, we're not paying it, and it's your job to pay the bill. That's what I get.
They're just making me use my own credit card, and I gotta get my personal.
Let's move on, number 7, out of county travel,
Go that route.
or approved invoices, I'm sorry.
They're right here, sorry, I didn't know if you could do it at the beginning of the meeting. So, we have that payment approval report, and so, the payment approval report is a listing of all payments.
I looked at it,
Okay.
yeah.
And so we have, what's called batch 1, in batch 1, we run weekly, every Wednesday, and so in our financial procedures manual, there's a listing of invoices that are pre-approved as batch 1, so that'd be utility bills, anything health and human services related, anything highway related. We recently added, if that expense has already been approved by a joint management committee or property committee, it doesn't have to come to finance prior to getting paid. So this listing, some of this stuff does not get paid until after you guys approve the bills, but most of it is already
Oh, there
paid.
you go.
But there's certain things that have to get approved in here before you guys can pay it. And then we have the gray folder too, and the gray folder is invoices that require finance committee approval prior to payment that weren't included in that original report because they got turned in afterwards. So sometimes you'll have a bunch of invoices in that gray folder, and sometimes we have none. And ideally, we have none, but especially if our finance committee meeting maybe gets moved up a week, people don't have their invoices to get in ahead of time. I do my best to send out a department head email when we do change it from our normal time, so that they can get their invoices entered in sooner, but.
What's this $9.59 charge for HR phone case?
Yeah, I just found that too. I just found that.
It's like, what?
Denied.
I thought
It's
you
a
were
little
kidding.
spendy.
I didn't know that. I thought she was actually kidding.
It's too bad, it's on your budget now.
Apex Engineering, exhaust system at Fritz. Jam Enterprise repairs.
Yes, so that was approved by joint management for developing like a exhaust system to get the fumes out of there for the vehicles and stuff that are in.
So that's somehow we can store vehicles instead of it's been properly exhausted.
I don't know if it's there yet or if this is voluntary work.
I think that was I think it was just the design.
Oh, it's just progress, so.
Right, but that's for the design of the system.
Netflix,
For the jail. And that gets, it gets reimbursed out of the canteen funds, so that gets coded too, I believe it's like 13104.
Make sure everyone buys lots of soda for the
So
punch.
then they reimburse it, cause they don't have a
Goes
credit
towards
card
their
for the
Netflix.
canteen funds, so they purchase it on a
so
credit
I
card.
remember asking Jeff about this one time now that you say that, and I said, well, why do they get TVs? He's like, well, you can get rid of the TVs, but remember, this is kind of my leverage. If they're acting bad, I can take away that. If they don't have that, I don't have a lot of leverage.
Okay.
And it is.
Yeah, and I believe it's only like in the rec room, it's not in each of the individual cells, so.
So now that you say that, I just. it
Yeah,
said-
but that's
it
not,
said
taxpayer
AR
dollars are not
it-
going to pay for that, that is
It said
paid
AR
for.
general, so I didn't know.
Yeah, so it gets coded to that AR account, and then they write us a check out of the canteen funds to reimburse it.
Sound and logic for a changeover, is that change? for
For the
county
squad.
clerk? Does the squad car to take the, move all this up to the next squad car?
What's the delinquent utilities?
That is related to tax collections. So, when our municipalities, say like Village of Hawkins, has a taxpayer that has back amounts owed on their water and sewer bill, they can place that on the tax roll, and then it gets receipted to that delinquent utilities account, and then if we collect it here, it gets turned back over to those municipalities.
And, how much did we pay Venture?
Just a second, look it up. I feel like I just ran that
Yeah,
for
you
you.
don't get it.
including the raising.
Cause that was not built yet.
Is that invoice that you're looking at, or was that $7,982.86?
8,000 per venture?
Yeah.
8,465. Capital project, yeah.
Okay, I think it's probably okay. I just wanted to make sure I was looking at the most recent one.
Well, there's like two small ones of that.
So the total build so far is $230,630.68.
230,000 what?
$630.68, and the contract is $349,000.
And that doesn't include Sandals.
Correct. Would you like me to look up Samuel's group as well?
They don't have anything on here.
It's the Samuel's group, so like.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think,
No.
we haven't paid them in a while. The last payment we made to them was for an invoice from December of '23.
Are we accruing charges for when they're just not billing?
It comes from.
What's her contract with them?
So,
What is her contract?
She sent it out last.
It was a total of 500,000.
That's the finance.
Yeah.
Approval.
Not, I'll look it up.
yeah, 'cause the last one, it didn't have like it just said progress, or pre-construction services to date, 25,000, it didn't have the total language for it.
You want the PDF one? Should be the red one. Be prepared to go across it.
Yeah.
It takes 3 pages just to get through A, you know, what you're looking for.
Well, that's mostly Amazon. And the Amazon ones would all be paid by credit card, which is a different batch.
Well, I'm on page 7, I'm only to C.
So are we done? I see, are we done with the Haas final payment on that, or no?
No,
So that was the 108.9.
I think our final contract with them ended up being like $1,050,000.
yes, cause remember there was an overage because,
The asbestos underneath the
Underneath,
ground and
yes.
everything, yep.
Yep,
The
so that-
tank then.
what's that?
And the tank,
Was that an overage?
That was not an overage.
was that
I don't think that was a change
Additional?
order. No, I don't think so.
That was just additional for insurance expense.
Oh, I think we insured because, if in or maybe
Yes.
accident or something,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. I assume that's what's coming up.
It should be, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Okay.
I'm gonna print the resolution for that LACAP funds, so you guys can sign that today.
We had a sheep at the animal shelter.
but the pony's gone.
Bill, where's your button? Get your button for me, please. Thank you.
Quick Trip expenses, this is here in town for, but isn't there gas, isn't there
Car
fuel
wash,
out
isn't
at?
it car wash?
Yes, some of them might be car wash, we also have, and Jamie knows the details of this,
Yeah,
kind
some
of like
it
a
is-
contract
some of
with,
it is
with
actually,
Quick
yeah.
Trip. So some of the sheriff vehicles will fill up at Quick Trip once in a while to keep that, like, agreement going with
We have
them.
a card,
Yes.
Really
But-
discount.
and I don't think you need.
The one at don't we have a deputy or two over to the west that used the one in Cameron or something? Isn't there one in Cameron?
Yep, there's one in Cameron, that
So
I
he's
don't
filled-
know.
He fills up, I think, over there.
Well, I get that, but, I mean,
Yeah, Hummer.
we put fuel pumps in out here at the county shop,
Mhm.
and officers can fill there.
And they usually do, yep.
So why not drive 2 blocks and fill up there? I don't get that. Is there
Yeah, I
an answer
don't,
to this?
and that I don't know, I can call the sheriff if you want, he can probably
I don't have
answer.
an answer either, but I didn't realize we used Quick Trip that much for fuel.
Well, there isn't very much on.
There's a knob.
What is the octane of the fuel at the, highway shop? So some of the special stuff like,
What's that?
see what octane fuel is that?
I think it's 89, yeah.
Oh.
I asked them why, it should be underneath the, what company is that we get it from? I can't remember though.
It just seems odd to me that.
I think it says it in the description too, it's 89.
There are no donuts at the highway shop.
I understand that, they can go and get donuts, but if, I mean, the county's spending an awful lot of money for the capability.
And it's cheaper for us to buy, cause we're getting.
That was the whole argument that I thought was there, so I mean, why shouldn't that continue?
Are there addresses on there, or does it just say Quick Trip?
It just says Quick Trip.
Okay, it could also, and I'm not entirely sure, but it could also be if a deputy had to go somewhere out of county, they swung into Quick Trip. Which one are you looking at?
All these Quick Trip for fuel.
So-
Why aren't they being fueled up here at the county
So
shop?
sometimes they just do it out of preference, they prefer Quick Trip, some of them live on closer to Rice Lake, maybe fill up in Barron. They do have a Quick Trip fleet card, so we get cash back, basically, if it's a reduction to the bill, so they're not paying the advertised price for fuel. But that has been a constant kind of.
That just means,
And
I know it's only 100.
They used to wash the cars in here in the Sallyport, and then it was getting full of sand.
Sure.
So they were paying officers to wash their own vehicles at the rate that they got paid, so I kind of squawked a couple years ago, I was like, can we just run it to a Quick Trip for
Oh, yeah.
And there are
I get
issues
that.
with that because of their attendance.
$20 an hour to wash their car.
Yeah, so they can't, it's hard, some of them
Some of
are
them
able
can,
to, but.
I've watched
yeah.
one was ahead of me one day, I don't remember who it was, but some do, but I don't know.
But yeah, they have each of those Quick Trip fleet ones has to be entered in as a separate invoice, whereas if they got it at highway, we just do a once a month journal entry for all those fuel purchases, so it would save a lot of administrative time in both the sheriff's department office and ours without having all those transactions, because they take each of those receipts, and so the amount that's on the receipt is not actually what they're charged on their card, because the amount on the receipt is what the posted price is, but then when they actually get the card charge, it's reduced by, there's a volume discount, and then there's also like a dollar amount discount, so that has to be a manual calculation on every single one of those. So, I mean, that's probably, I would say probably 4 hours a month alone is just spent dealing with those, between, the admin time of the sheriff's department and our office processing.
So what were those, a lot of those are done?
A lot of them I think are, and sometimes it's just for convenience too, if they're on night shift, they might be stopping to grab a coffee and use the restroom, and it's just easier to fill up there than.
I think that's up to Lindsay. Even with the volume discount.
And, yeah, and
The highway
the
shop.
octane at the
Yeah,
highway shop
that's what I mean,
is
even
different.
versus
The Hummer
their,
can't go up there, right?
I don't,
Right, the
I don't know, cause I haven't actually seen it.
The Hummer
No, but
gets
it
the
stands
premium,
to
and they get
reason.
like the middle of the road at, but how often are they filling up the Hummer?
I see Hummer once in a while.
Yeah, but they could, I mean, you could use just your regular credit card too.
307?
Yeah.
Is it 411?
Well, what is it, 330 something in town? So, 30 cents.
I've never seen it.
So we wanna make a motion to do something on the ask emergency services to look into the gas usage.
I don't know.
Well, it's part of approving invoices.
Invoices, part of it, we send stuff back to the departments. So we've not even paid them before, I wish I don't recommend this case, but
Oh, that they're credit cards, so it's paid.
that's true. So I would recommend that you reach out to.
I will
emergency
tell you that
services.
there's one person in that department that just doesn't even want keys to be able to fill up at the highway shop, so.
That's not really his decision. Or we can always pull a credit card from that individual.
Yeah, that's a different credit card, that's a fleet card for Quick Trip, but.
It's still a credit card.
there's a couple hundred gallons there that was.
What'd we spend, like, 700,000, what was the price on that out there at the shop?
I thought it was a couple hundred.
What, fuel oil?
No, how much was it, put that
When the fuel,
island out there?
the island at the county shop, how much did that cost?
I thought it was like over $1 million.
So, and you have to take into account too that, on top of what the highway price is posted at, another 10 cents per gallon is added in for,
Road tax.
no, it's actually for fuel system replacement, it goes into their permit fund.
Okay. I don't know, my point is that, I mean, the county made a big expenditure to put that out there, and it just makes no sense to me. And it maybe dollar wise, it's only a couple $1,000 on the year, but it's a couple $1,000. And if county vehicles aren't utilizing that just, it looks bad to the public. And it's not good stewardship of the funds that we're trusted with.
So January, the total for the Quick Trip extended card purchases was $412, February was $324, and March was $331. And this is the one that would say Quick Trip Extended Network on the payment approval report, not regular Quick Trip.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And
Yeah, and I only see 2 car washes out of that. So I understand car washes, but.
Well, and if you look at this, it's pretty much, not saying Brian's wrong, but when I look at some of these extended network ones, they are mostly the same car number,
You wanna tell me what kind of it is?
car 22. All of the extended, according to this, all of the extended
Like the last-
networks,
Oh, yeah, there.
Wait,
all but 4 are car 22, Explorer A30, and then an Expedition A2.
Yep, and then a Ram well, that
But they're all
was
car
another-
22, does that mean the same individual?
Yeah, 'cause
Does
they
that
don't
mean
have
just
their own-
different cars?
They have all their own individual
So
squad cars.
A30 would
They each have
be
their own squad car.
the sheriff. What are the other numbers?
A30 and number A2,
Yeah, there should be another number.
that's all it's showing here.
Cut off.
There's B77,
What expense account number is it getting coded to? B77,
that's a Ram,
okay, that
car
would be.
23.
And B77 might be because they're also filling up using the premium gas in BTV or snowmobile. That would be that's the right one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, there's only 12 gallons.
Yeah, that could be into
081 or 084?
So 81 would be the old investigator vehicle. That was Cummins. Our chief deputy was driving for a while after a deer hit. Well, I'll tell you, like, in March, the sheriff's department did purchase almost $5,000 of fuel from the highway, so the majority of their fuel is being purchased through the highway pumps.
That part's good, it should be consistent.
Oversight, wait for the oversight committee, look into an individual, have Ashley talk to them.
Well, and, like,
I-
and you understand
I'm
the tough
joking.
spot that puts me in, because
No,
as
I'm
an
joking.
elected official, we can't really.
You make goods, right?
What's that?
You make actually goods, right? You're not gonna talk to them.
Well, at the same time, we have the power of the purse here, right? We're supposed to watch out that people aren't using that, so. You come by, if emergency services deems there's a reason for that, they can send a recommendation back, maybe look at the circumstances. Maybe there is a reason for it. But,
I know the ones
I
in the
was joking,
county.
boss, honey.
Okay, good.
No, the oversight committee, not you.
If you remember, Phil, I made a little think about it, I think, a couple of years ago, and I thought the explanation we got was the ones that out of county always fill up when they go home. In case there's an emergency situation, so when they're home and they gotta leave, they don't have stock for gas.
So they could fill before they.
So some of them are getting full, well, yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think the explanation I was given was they fill up when they go home before they park their car for the night.
I don't remember that. I remember something about keeping a card open,
Keep what open?
keeping a credit card open, but
I don't remember that part, maybe, you know.
I don't think you do that in purchases.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong, that's what I remember. For some of them
You
over there.
could be right, or there could have been 4 hours.
Yeah, and I don't know the exact savings that we get from using the fleet card either, I think it also might depend on the volume for that month in total. But we do get, some rewards from our regular credit cards too, so maybe getting rid of those fleet cards and just, encourage the use of the highway department. And then if that's not feasible for whatever reason, just use a regular card, but it probably would be worth a conversation.
Yeah, but then
That
they're just need to separate the card, do the same thing.
Well, they should be able to justify why they are using that regular card. Like, I've used my county credit card to fill up other county vehicles before because I've done a training or something, and obviously.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's different.
And what's different now than, maybe what it used to be for those squads is that those squads are part of our fleet. So the fuel cost hits the fleet budget, not the sheriff's department budget directly. So it used to be, so we have our county car fleet, which is a full fuel fund. We track all of the vehicle's expenses by individual vehicles. So I could tell you, exactly how much fuel was purchased for this particular vehicle in that year. It used to be, vehicle purchases were budgeted within the sheriff's department, and they also had a line for fuel and maintenance. But we switched to the fleet, so, now when a sheriff's vehicle is out of service for the sheriff's department, we transfer it to, say, maintenance or our rental car fleet that people use to go to trainings or go do home visits, that kind of thing. So they aren't held necessarily as accountable for the actual cost of fuel because, that the fuel itself isn't hitting their budget, it's the 67 cents per mile, it's
the initials yet.
Yeah, better to get initial basis.
So I figured I'd just clarify it before I got all the way through it. Say something.
So we can start with emergency services looking at it.
What kind of follow-up do you want from that committee, like, so Terry's on that committee, so like.
I noticed you're pretty quiet over there.
Did you wanna
Yeah,
give
here we
like a
go
direction? Yeah, like I guess when I bring it to them, what is finance's opinion, like we would like all sheriff vehicles filling up at highway?
If practicable, like if you're in Ladysmith, fill up at the highway shop. Now, if you're on a tour or if you're at training, obviously that's not practical, right? But if we're going to Quick Trip for all our fuel purchases, that, when we got the highway shop there, it should be advised that for Ladysmith, we should be filling up at the highway shop. In a surrounding area to a certain extent. I get, now, if you left your car running, you're at a scene for 6 hours, if you're over in warehouse or wherever, you might not be able to get back to the highway shop, you're still within the county. But if at all practicable, we should always use the highway shop. And then just see what, the committee finds. And they might recommend something else back to us and say, there's a reason, maybe we don't know something.
They used to use the reason of
Yeah,
the gas prices.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think we've had that discussion with the sheriff before, like, I remember that discussion happening and I've only been here for a year and a half. So I'm guessing it's gonna give the same response, but.
Well, and at that point, we can pull parks too, cause that falls under the misuse of credit card too.
Well, and the property has the oversight over the fleet, so since those vehicles are part of the fleet, maybe the direction needs to come from the property committee in that sense too. Because the property, yeah, if their argument is the cost, well, that's up to the property committee to decide how they want those vehicles to be.
So it's for venture, every time they come up here and stay over, what are we paying for the hotel rooms and everything?
Yes, those are reimbursable above and beyond the contract.
And even meals?
Yes.
Over there too. That's the one.
Only on overnight meals, or are we buying them lunch every time they're here?
I bought them lunch out of my own personal money when they were here for the town halls.
They should be buying
I saved
you lunch.
just to county money.
They should be buying you lunch for the amount of money they're getting from the county.
No.
They should.
I know,
That's
but
how business works.
They should, but then if they buy lunch and then somebody's like, well, they're buying lunches for people.
They should be buying lunch for everybody here. I mean, for what they're getting, just buy it for the whole county.
So then you go down there and then there's gonna be somebody.
You wanna go down that road, Bill?
You wanna go down that road and somebody will be saying, part of what they're paying for is meals for, just saying.
That threw you off, didn't it?
You wanna go down there?
I still gotta send it to Rich.
Hey, I got one, Jamie.
Yeah.
So, from Amazon for IT,
Okay.
Fluke Networks something kit,
Okay.
114-6844-885-7. 2388.
We could always fire them too.
Yeah, I forget what
I'm good with that.
It's from Amazon, it's a
Yeah.
$2,400 item, which is kinda,
No, I think that's the thing that tests if a line is good. So like, they can hook it on, it's Fluke Networks Liquid Link IQ cable plus network tester kit. I feel like that's something they can hook onto a line and be able to tell if there's something wrong with
Okay.
it. Yeah, I think that went to property.
I make a motion to pay our bills.
Motion by Mr. Meyer to pay the bills, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schultz. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Pass, motion passed. Motion carried.
No other county travel? Next.
Chinese house.
I have.
I'm voting no.
It's the only vacation she gets away from her husband.
I'm still
Right
voting no.
here.
I gotta cook for myself, I told you guys.
This is, June 23rd through
the number of miles at the
Mr.
IRS
Anderson
rate
made
and the,
motion.
government hotel room rate.
Mr. Anderson's made a motion for the out-of-town travel. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Nay.
Reports, treasurer report. What? Oh, other requests, what's other requests? There are other requests?
No, I don't have any.
Initials on these are invoices. that
Treasurer's
they get
report.
by the time the-
Great folder.
Report of the bank balance, tax fee, and processing.
Email that.
Ever emailed you guys that?
I wasn't home today to see it.
Okay, you want me to pull it up?
Can you just read it out quick?
I can. Let me pull that up real quick.
Did you have that finance recommendation to speaking of emergency services? Are you guys good with that one? Yeah, okay, good.
So. There's 11.8 million in the investment pool. The February interest in LGIP was 5.4%. General account, we got 1.6 million in there, that was at 5.41% interest for February. We just didn't have March yet. CDs. Just let me see if anything rolled over this month. She did roll one over, I believe it was Ladies Home Federal Savings and Loans. I don't know that, this is completely up to date. But yeah, I know she rolled one over within this last month here. But total cash is at, $29,571,001.55. Of that, 3.78 million is committed, 25.8 million is unassigned, or sorry, is assigned in uncommitted funds.
So we got a cookout? Just buns.
What, you guys don't have any beef in the freezer or what?
No, we don't want this.
Why not for company?
Is that it for the current year?
Because part of the tour is getting a pontoon rider.
Is that it, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean,
At your,
Administrative coordinator report?
Okay, so update from personnel, really nothing, that wasn't already addressed in this meeting, the compensation for the commissioner and the ME pay schedule. From joint management, that committee approved $4,850 to Doug's Heating to remove some old piping and replace a water line at the Fritz Avenue building. Ad hoc construction hasn't met since I gave my last update to this, committee. We did have the town halls, you guys heard an update from Samuel's Adventure on Tuesday. They will be back for the orientation meeting that the board is having on Monday to go over with the board, current and old members, the presentations that they gave at the town halls, just in case anyone wasn't there to see those presentations. So they'll be here to answer any questions on that. Hospital and nursing home site updates. So we talked about one final payment for Haas. Yuri had gone out there earlier this week, I believe, with, Jerry to do a walkthrough about some drainage issues. That they'd tidy up there before we call it good on that land. We got the appraisal back on April 10th, and the RFP, for that land and the structure out there was published on April 15th. Proposals are due back to the county on July 12th. And just as a reminder, the board dictated that the property committee would handle looking through all of the RFPs and conducting any interviews that they feel are necessary, and then from there, property will refer their selection to the county board. And again, the RFP
The
is,
recommendation,
yes,
we still have all of them available to the full board, it's just that it comes with the recommendation.
and that RFP is online on the county website, main page. You just have to scroll down a little bit past the big picture, and it's right there.
What did the appraisal come back into again?
830,000, and that is for land only, that does not include the approximately 1 million for the clinic building.
So 1,830,000 for the building and the land.
And if you count the building as general office space, because remember there were the two numbers on that appraisal.
Oh, you're going back to the old appraisal then.
That was conducted in January 23, yep. Yep. And all of that information is smashed into one gigantic, like 300-page document. If you wanna scroll through that, the inspection is in there as well, and the TID information for the city of Ladysmith. That property, most of the parcels are in 2 TIDs that overlap each other. So that information was put part of the bid packet as well. Okay, and then 1101 and 1201 Lake Ave, that is the Prevea clinic, and then the vacant lot next to it. We have an executed lease with Oakleaf. We received that this week. We got all 17 signatures from their board, which are all providers. I walked the check and the signed closing settlement over to the abstract company today, and we close tomorrow. Yes. So that's what I got for you, unless you have questions.
That's a good job.
Yes.
Very good job.
I didn't bring up my phone book.
It should be yes button.
Why would you have a guest book?
It should have like an
Those
applause
cost
button.
money, Jim.
I gotta do that.
He needs an applause button.
Is that it, Ashley?
Yes, thank you.
If I had an
Thank you,
applause
Ash.
button, then people would take it for granted, like it just happened all the time, you know?
Number,
Don't
number
want too
10,
much salt.
clerk's report.
April election is pretty much closed out. We're getting ready for my LTE to come in the office soon. Other than that, we're just getting ready, we're wrapping up again for the August election, so. And marriage license. Dog license right now the fine is, I believe, $5.
Well, more than marriage license.
Yeah, 600, yeah. Unless you wanna be part of that.
No. The dog
The marriage license.
Well, I mean, if you get married, you might be both.
You might be getting it all, yeah.
Bill's getting married? Yeah, we need more money for the county. Kick in. Marriage license, dog license, start doing your part.
I'll just donate. If it comes to that, it'd be a lot cheaper to donate, probably twice the cost of the
Trying to
marriage
pull you up
license.
there, Mr. Archer.
Alright, is that it, Connie? Finance director report.
Alright, well, I'm starting to work on closing out budgets and budget transfers. ARPA reporting is filed for, through March of 24, got that done today.
Is there any ARPA projects that are approved that we're worried, might come over under budget?
I am on top of that. I'm working with, departments on that. I have a listing of, so we have until the end of this year to obligate funds for ARPA. And then we have until the end of 2026 to spend it.
Okay.
So,
I'll get to that in a second.
so I have not brought forward a resolution yet to spend the rest of that money on the clinic because I'm waiting until we close out these other ones, so I
Wasn't
know.
the way the clinic one was written though was to spend all the outstanding ARPA funds, so even if they come back, as long as it's in 2024, it should automatically go on that resolution.
Well, yeah, but you have to put a dollar amount in when you do your reporting. So, at this point, it's just easier to wait, because we have to have it obligated by the end of 2024 anyway. So, I've been working with departments that, hey, is this project complete? So I have a listing, of so far what we can de-obligate. But there's a few IT projects that are still hanging out there. So, right now, there's $37,243.34 that can be de-obligated from projects that were underspent, and then we can re-obligate that for, that clinic purchase. But there's still a handful of projects that are, hanging out there that aren't quite complete, so I'm just hoping to wait till we can get those solidified, so that we don't have to keep making, like, de-obligation resolutions.
So
You wanna do it
technically,
one shot.
Right,
so technically, so we could wait till December 15th or.
yeah, hopefully not that long, I don't want it to cut, I don't wanna cut it that close,
Even
but,
the way it's so quick that really doesn't work that way, you still have to make that kind of, allocate that money.
yes, because when you do your ARPA reporting, you have to put the total amount obligated for that project to date, the total expenditures, then your current year obligations, your current year expenditures, so, I'll have to put like a negative obligation in for the current year once we do those. So just for reporting purposes, and then it will all tie back to those resolutions.
Oh.
So,
I think that's where that's come from, I think so.
yeah, it's not,
There's nothing.
But either way, it still covers it, the fact that any money coming back left over will be allocated.
right, but that's why I haven't actually written the resolution yet for the clinic building, because then I can put a finite dollar amount on it once we get
I
that.
see what you're saying, makes sense.
She's not sending any money back to the government.
No, I doubt that.
And it's not holding us up from the purchase, obviously, so, yeah.
I have a question. When are the doggy license going to get posted to the animal shelter?
They're probably working on that with my year budget transfers, so hopefully the next couple weeks here.
I have one more, ambulance. Is that all squared away with that ambulance bill?
Rich is still working on that, but yeah, we still don't have, so we had a, so when I started here at 18, we were doing our ambulance billing in-house. Then in 19, we outsourced it to another ambulance billing company. Because with our size, it was hard to stay compliant with the Medicaid, Medicare billing. And so we outsourced it to a company that's all they do is ambulance billing. And we had two separate systems going, cause this new company wanted to use their system for the billing, and then we still had our kind of, our archive billing that they were still doing collections on. So, for a while, the company was doing great, they were posting payments received to the old billing software, they were running, posting the calls in the new billing software. But then at some point, they sold and stopped posting to the old billing software, claims that they didn't have access to it anymore. And I verified with that software company that they're the only ones that do have access, and in order for us to get access back to it, we'd have to get onto their server to move it back to ours, and, so they were claiming that they don't have this, so we have a lot of payments that have been received for ambulance bills that aren't posted to patient accounts. And we're not able to do that without access to that system, so then in August of 22, we contracted with another company to do our ambulance billing. But we have not yet received our data back from that first company. So after months and months of trying, because they kind of would keep stringing us along, like, hey, yeah, we fully intend on getting those payments posted, we wanna do right by you guys, we wanna fulfill this. And just enough to keep us strung along, and so, we made some threats of, legal action for a while and thought we would get somewhere there, but no, so now it's in Rich's hands, he's working on trying to get that for us, in the
No, the new
meantime.
company isn't really great either, is it?
There were some issues with the new company, and I don't know if it was necessarily their fault, like, this new company recently sold to another company, but there was something that wasn't talking right between our ambulance run system and how it's received on their end for billing. And I think it was something with a state system on that. Tom Hall would be able to explain it much better. So for like 6 months, there weren't any runs like getting billed at all. So now they got those billed out, I think in January and February of this year. So that's been, yes, so there was like $400,000 of calls, I think, billed out in February.
We started battling this when we first got the kids together.
Yeah, it's been, and when I first came on, reconcile the ambulance, and it was like, the reports you ran out of your system matched the GL in another system, and it was easy, and now
I mean, there's a potential that there's quite a bit of money out there to get, that we don't know if it was collected from the first service there, right? Or do we think that got
most
collected?
of our problem is money that we collected here that we can't see that it's been posted to patient accounts.
So there could be people that owe us money yet that we can't pursue because they may have already paid.
Or the other way
Right.
around, they've already paid.
Yeah, maybe they were sent to collections, but
Yeah.
they really, and there's been some that I've caught and like, hey, I can prove that this payment came in, but some people are frequent flyers, and so without having access to the billing data and the remittances from the payments, you can't necessarily tie that payment directly to a call. So maybe it's a person that they've made 4 payments, but they have 5 outstanding calls, and you don't know which one is unpaid.
The one time I thought the number was pretty big.
It's quite a large number with me. And
And that's a lot of money for another company to.
right, and
own
so
here.
I kind of,
That's
once we get that
not-
data back, I think it's gonna be on me to try to figure out how to post this. But, I don't even have, access to those accounts to be
You
able to
get an
post it
update
to there.
for next month, you get an update
Yeah.
Dennis, on that,
Mhm.
to see if we need to push this a little harder.
Yeah, because
I
we
mean, we're
have,
talking almost 2 years now.
yeah,
And the longer we let it go, the farther this company's gonna get from.
yeah, there's
any
like
type of resolution.
$224,000 of payments that we received that
How much?
$224,000 of payments that we received that I can't tie to the patient accounts. And there are some payments that have been applied to patient accounts that I can't tie back and forth, so maybe this just needs to be some translation, but.
You don't know if there's any that is unpaid, unaccounted, I mean,
So there's like, the current company that we have, there's like $2,800 of billing credits that they posted to patient accounts that I can't figure out, tie that back to our cash receipts. The old billing company, there was like 17,000, but the big part is this 224,000 of payments we've received here that aren't posted to patient accounts.
so you think we're pretty close to being square for what was due to the county, we just can't put it to the right account. Am I understanding that correctly? You think we're kinda close?
Right, but if people some of this money maybe is owed back to the people because if they weren't, if they thought they weren't paid up or their insurance company paid it, but then these people got a bill because it wasn't posted to their account and people maybe private paid and it was also paid by insurance.
But we also don't know if the old company kept some of this money and never sent it to us either, because we have nothing to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
We need to tell Rich to stop threatening the police station or something, because, I mean,
I think so too.
This also makes the whole, the government look like garbage, right? We can't keep track of our accounts because the billing company won't give us the data.
Yeah, I think we're at the point where we gotta go after it harder.
How many years were they?
I think it was 19, 20, 21, 22, so 3.5.
3.5 years.
Yeah. I think it was.
So if you do want Rich to take action, that if you could please put that into a motion to direct him to do as such.
I thought we kinda were.
Yeah, I thought
I think we told them to
direction was
start
to
talking
proceed.
about action as county.
proceed with legal action, I think was the last motion that was.
Yeah, I thought we said proceed with legal, I thought
I
it
can find the
was.
email that I sent to him, about it.
I kinda thought the ball was rolling that direction.
I can't remember if we said take action or start talking. threatening
I
or
thought we were
whatever.
done with the threats, but.
I thought
yeah,
we'd already done like 2 letters before that threat.
That's true.
There was some threatening that went on before that, at least, I thought at least a couple. Cause it's obvious that the most respectful approach isn't working.
It's not just personnel.
Property. I think it's property issues. We gotta start sending more from this committee to property.
Defer to Ashley. I look for
seems like she doesn't have enough work to do, we should just start sending more to the HR. And to think, for years, we didn't even need HR.
Rich said I'm working on this lawsuit, so that would imply that.
That was the improvement point that we do need HR, but how busy you are. Just to clarify. Okay,
I hope
well,
that's what I was
someone else may
receiving.
not have, but I wanted to clarify my statement.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe we need to have Rich at one of these meetings.
Well, if he can bring us another, let's just get him on the agenda for next month, whatever, and then deal with it there, maybe. Then we can give us an update, we can kinda give him direction.
Make sure we put some possible action on his certification.
Now you want to? Or do you?
No, if he's on next month's agenda, just make sure.
okay,
we
cause
word it.
okay.
If he says, here's your options, and we have it just worded as discussion, just make sure we have action on it right away.
Yeah.
Discussion of possible action.
I hate to let it go another month, but yeah.
Motion by Meyer, second by Fillinger, to proceed with litigation against the previous ambulance billing company and forward to the county board for approval.
So it's never been forwarded to the county board?
To start litigation?
That was in December, hold on, let me.
I think it came to county board, I thought he gave us an update.
I don't think it's ever.
Maybe we just talked about it so many times here that I thought
I
it was
think,
at county board.
I think we've talked about it a lot of times.
I thought it came to board.
Or maybe it came to county board before we were this far along.
Okay, so there was a closed session at the December county board. And I don't know that there wasn't a motion made in open session. But I think they might have done it.
We might just wanna have Rich back here, give an update or
Do
something.
we want him back here? Maybe we just want him to go straight to county board. Speed the process along.
Well, it's just find out what the current status is.
Yeah, well,
Has
if
he
it's
filed
just an
a suit or
update, you
something?
could provide an update here, and then if we have to put something on top board, do that.
Well, I think, Mr. Chair, I think that was part of that discussion that we had had with him. So I think that will be included, so I think it will be at the board in May.
Okay.
Yep.
So we'll just wait till he's done, what he's got to say at the county board, right?
So do we need to put anything on this month, on this agenda for next month?
No.
That's
Said
fine.
he's coming to county board.
It doesn't have.
Okay.
You've got it under your report anyhow, I guess, but.
Yeah.
Number 12, review and amend future committee meeting dates.
So this committee has been meeting on the third Thursday at 3:00. Is that something that we want to consider? Also, next month, Justin from Baird would like to come and present on bonding, and debt strategies. And he would prefer a daytime meeting to be here in person, otherwise he could attend virtually in the afternoon.
Yep, but he really would prefer to be here in person because it's such an important discussion.
It might be.
No, what if he wants to
Well,
make us
3
borrow
o'clock
money,
daytime?
show up in the afternoon,
What's he mean by daytime?
or don't
Yeah,
show
like-
up.
Like,
o'clock is
he would
daytime.
prefer like if we start at 8 or 9 AM, cause I believe he has a commitment back. Yeah, I believe he.
You know
would
what, let's
need to
just
be
not
gone.
borrow money then, if he can't show up in the afternoon.
I'm sorry, but some of us have jobs too, not just him. So, that 8 o'clock in the morning kills everybody, like myself included, a whole day. Come in and sit here when he can come here at 3 o'clock.
I've got
It was just, he had something else going on at 3:00 that particular day. You know,
Yeah, not that he would
That-
come at
that
3 on a
early
different
that
day,
day.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not, it's not the,
Does
it's
he
not
have to be
the
here?
general time, it's
Does he have to
that
be here in May or
day.
can we?
So you want us to move to another day, possibly?
He would be fine with that.
Or we could move him till June or July or September, December. Oh, Phil, you're listening.
I'm ordering uniforms, but. Go on, I'm gonna use it for you.
Do you want me to take care of ordering that for you, Jim?
What's
No, I'll
anybody
spend my
think?
own
What's
money.
anybody think? Move the day?
I already have an 8:30 meeting on that day.
Well, then you can't be here anyways.
And I plan on bringing like, contingency and, budget amendments to you guys next month, I prefer it not get moved up anymore, especially since the annual financial report is due to the state on the 15th. So, I can get all the time I can get,
So you're thinking about maybe the 23rd, a week later?
but then that would be after county board.
Yeah, that's after my board, so I mean, the only other option, Jamie, is either the 17th or the 20th, no, for us, but we got anything in.
And the 17th would have to be in the morning.
Right, so.
Friday.
I could make that work if I had to. I
Otherwise,
prefer not mornings.
Otherwise, Monday the
Afternoons are way
20th would be,
easier for me.
yeah, Monday the 20th would be.
Monday the 20th, yeah.
Highway.
Well,
Afternoon though.
But
Highways in the
would
morning.
Would there be anything pressing that you'd have to get onto the board though? That gives you less than 24 hours?
Yeah, that's true, we won't be able to do an addendum or anything at that point for.
So you better think about this. That's too close to the board.
Well, I don't have a preference, I'll be here whenever you schedule it, so don't look at me.
Well, I
Okay,
mean, if
Saturday,
anything- but
8
if
a.m. to
anything
20.
needs to go
We
to the
got it,
board-
I'll bring a copy.
What about the 17th?
If there's a potential for an addendum, I think we should avoid that. I think addendums should be pretty limited, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm just throwing it out there, I don't
Yeah.
care which way you wanna go, I'm just making that known.
Yeah, well, I think you're kind of talking about. the
Well,
same
and honestly,
thing.
even from the 16th, it would
It's kinda
probably have to be an
last
addendum
time
for county board,
before
cause we
board.
don't,
Right, that's
you
what
know,
I mean.
Yeah.
Julie usually gets
No,
it
I'm
out
agreeing.
and yeah,
Oh.
Thursday.
I was misunderstanding.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it so you
Well,
don't
you
have
don't
an
wanna move
addendum,
it up.
If she's
rather
county
so
board,
you
it's
could have an
5
actual
days in advance.
If she's still here.
agenda that, without an addendum.
Tracy you'll get it out.
So,
But you said you didn't want it,
But
like,
if
the
there's nothing-
15th or earlier because you're gonna be busy with your other stuff to try
Yeah.
and get caught up and done.
yeah, cause I gotta get that annual financial report
Right.
done.
So,
What's the
and the
chance
And I
county
wanna
board-
bring you guys the budget amendments and contingency transfers.
So the only other date is on the 17th.
I mean, or we could leave it at the 16th and just tell Justin has to attend virtually. Or what if we moved it up, I don't know how early, you know, if we moved it up and had Justin go right away, you know, maybe not morning, if we just had it started at say 1 o'clock, that would be, I don't know if that's.
June
Then that, yeah, then Brian, you might have a conflict. If you guys are comfortable, that was just his suggestion. His suggestion was bonding is very complicated. If he was here in person, it might be a better conversation. But if you guys are fine with him on Zoom, then.
no, I'm not fine with him on Zoom.
Oh,
because
okay.
only as good
No,
as the
I think she
connection.
said in June.
No.
He said on Zoom.
Is he
Well,
charging us travel time
the
and
only
meals?
reason we should have this conversation earlier than later is because we do have other, like, take the jail out of the equation. We have other bonding projects and we have that reimbursement resolution in place, which is only good for 18 months.
We don't have to have other bonding projects.
You already approved bonding for
Phil likes it when we have
highway.
bonding projects.
No.
Phil likes it.
I know he
Phil
does.
loves
He loves
borrowing
borrowing money.
Yep. He prefers to spend money we do not have that is someone else's.
You know, you're gonna send him home tonight, he is not gonna be able to sleep.
Really?
I want to encourage them.
Okay, well, realistically, let's move along here, let's, 17th is only the other option, if we push the shove to that. Brian, it's gonna be tight for you, you kind of make it work,
The
possibly.
17th?
Yeah,
The morning of the 17th?
I can make it work if I need to.
I can make it work if I need to too.
Bill?
I have to. I'll do it too.
I mean, I'm trying to make it work, well, I'm gonna make it work, and it is what it is.
So it's at what, 8:30, 8?
Okay,
17th is,
I think probably 8:30.
you got something on that day, or?
no,
I'll have to stay overnight.
Yeah,
What?
can we start it, well, cause I would like to I'd like to move the.
He's in like Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'd like to move the approval of the bills probably to the top of the agenda, because after we approve.
What's this stay overnight, pay for his room?
No,
No, we
won't
wouldn't
pay for it.
pay for it, but Baird is located in Milwaukee, so
Right.
we'll have to ask him if he can travel here Thursday night.
So you're saying maybe like later, like early afternoon on the 17th?
Like at 1 o'clock, you're saying?
No, not at, we
Well,
close
the
at
courthouse
12:30.
is, yeah, closed.
no, remember the courthouse closes on Friday.
Yeah, so if we show up for a meeting after 12:30 on a Friday, we get double time. No, that's not true.
No, I know that.
Is that an issue though, if we have a meeting after the courthouse is closed? I mean, I understand that be
Doing it
over
right now.
some hours, but
Yeah.
Well, for instance, that, it doesn't really matter for me and Jamie because we're salaried, but if
This was just
you
so you can
have
flex
hourly
hours.
people that are expected to come and present. But it's your
There's probably gonna be other people that wanna attend this meeting.
how many early people attend today?
Well, and to get those bills paid, there's some of these bills don't get paid until you guys approve them. So that's why I wanted to move up those to the beginning of the agenda and do it that Friday so that we can get them approved. I can get it over to Brittany and she can still get payments out that day. Because like right now, today, these bills, it's already planned that they're going out tomorrow, so now that we have finance at 3 o'clock on Thursdays. But otherwise they have to wait till Monday.
Okay, so are we all kind of in agreement on that Monday or Friday, 17th at 8?
Can he even
Well-
attend if he has car commitments Thursday night? Is he gonna know that? I'm just saying, so you guys don't
How
decide a
bad do you
date.
wanna- How bad do you want this to work?
Well, on the 16th, what if we started
We don't
at
need much.
10 o'clock in the morning?
But then that,
Or
that,
11?
right, but then that
You have to be
impacts
back
the people
to
who
what,
work.
Milwaukee at 3 or something?
I forget.
That doesn't give me much time to
Maybe
present.
we're
Didn't
done.
we
On the
say
16th?
we
have
might
to
by
do
one
this
or
or something?
something?
On the 16th, you have to be back for a commitment on the night of the 16th, so we're
Oh.
doing the 17th in the
Around.
morning.
I don't remember
You
what.
probably can't
Dildos.
Oh.
get there. You know what I
Question
mean?
here,
Oh.
do we even have to do this in May, or June, or May? I mean?
You don't have to.
Well, then why are we jumping hoops for this guy? I'm done. You know what? It's either the 16th or the 17th. I don't care. I'm not gonna sit here and play this game all night. One or the other. What works?
Well, I don't want Justin or Baird to get any of the blame in this. We were just trying to work within the committee schedule.
I know, but we've already hashed this now for almost 20 minutes, figuring out a day, and he's always been the problem.
No.
So,
He's
are
a
we
little
leaving it at the
creepy.
16th for 3 PM? Are we gonna move it to the Friday at 8 AM? I don't care what he has going, the rest of us have lives too. Get over it, move on.
Okay, so
I'm giving
if
up a
you're,
full day's of work to come in on a Friday morning.
Yep.
So is Brian, Jim, Phil, and everybody else.
so then we can leave it at 3 PM on Thursday and he'll just be on the TV then.
That's fine too.
But I thought.
I'm fine with that.
Fine,
That's
whatever.
fine, you can bring us up to date.
That's his choice.
Yeah, because I don't know that moving it to Friday morning is necessarily
Gonna help anything, yeah.
Okay, so the 16th at 3.
And if he
Same as
thinks
normal.
that it's better to do in person and he can wait till, June.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
an option too, but if he wants to do it at 3 PM on, the 16th.
I'll tell you really good.
That's up.
Some powerful weedies you had this morning.
Alright, is that it? We got that figured out, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, please do. I'll make the motion.
Second by, or first by Meyer, second by Mr. Wondershute, we are adjourned.